Chapter 29-20. A few days later, Xia Ping took away all the Gaia Lolis in Gaia Paradise because it was too dangerous for them to stay in Gaia Paradise. This place had long been targeted by the gods. If he were to leave, the other Gaia Lolis would definitely suffer. If that was the case, he might as well take all of them away and protect them so that they would not be used by others. Moreover, the Gaia elders were still in a state of resurrection. He did not know how long it would take for them to be resurrected. Even if they were resurrected, they would not have peak combat power and would not be able to protect the other Gaia Lolis. Therefore, Xia Ping took up the responsibility of protecting the Gaia Lolis and brought them all into the world of the classic of mountains and seas. At the same time, all the treasures in Gaia Paradise were taken away. Nothing would be left there. Tan Minglu, Chong Xiaoqian, and the other foodies were naturally taken away. They were still confused and did not know what was going on. Why did their master take away the Gaia clan? At this moment, in a palace in the world of the classic of mountains and seas, Xia Ping was cultivating in seclusion. To be honest, he had gained a lot this time. He had killed 2,000 to 3,000 gods that had possessed their bodies. Even though they were only souls, they still possessed extremely terrifying energy. No matter what, they were true gods. In terms of quality, sages could not be compared to them. Therefore, after killing these gods, Xia Ping also obtained a huge amount of origin energy from them. Rumble clumps of light appeared in Xia Ping's hand. These were the origin energy refined after killing those gods. Each clump of light contained a huge amount of origin energy. If these clumps of light were to be devoured by an early-stage demigod expert, even a single clump of light would be enough to raise their cultivation to the perfected demigod realm. Therefore, one could imagine how much origin energy these clumps of light contained. Walalat, Xia Ping did not say a word and immediately devoured these white clumps of light. He circulated the magic in his body and transformed it into a furnace, instantly devouring and refining these energy clumps of light. Immediately, he felt a vast amount of energy surging towards his body, instilling into his limbs and bones, fusing into every cell in his body. He felt as if he had been enlightened by 3,000 gods, imparting their lifetime cultivation to him. Every god was so selfless, and they took pleasure in helping others. In an instant, Xia Ping found that the magic power in his body had increased by leaps and bounds. It was increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few breaths, the magic power in his body was filled up. It was worth noting that he had 9 sea of consciousness, which was enough to contain an endless amount of magic power. Normally speaking, if he wanted to fill up his body with magic power, he would need to cultivate for at least 1 trillion eras before he could succeed. However, after devouring the divine soul energy of these 3,000 gods, it was equivalent to obtaining their countless years of cultivation. This saved him countless years of painstaking cultivation, allowing his cultivation base to advance by leaps and bounds. Boom! In that instant, Xia Ping's body trembled. His soul and body resonated, as though the sound of the great Tao was being emitted, creating a rhythm that could not be described with words. At that moment, a door in the depths of his sea of consciousness was instantly broken by a vast and majestic power, allowing him to easily enter a new realm. Complete demigod realm. Xia Ping realized that he had stepped into the supreme complete demigod realm. He was just one step away from advancing to the god realm, a realm that had never been seen before. It could be said that his current cultivation base could be said to be the supreme existence of this universe era. Apart from the old farts from the previous universe era, no one was stronger than him. Complete demigod realm? Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He realized that the magic power in his body was much stronger than before. The difference between complete and incomplete was like heaven and earth. In terms of magic power alone, he was a few times stronger than before. At that moment, every move he made gave off the feeling of being one with the universe. A punch could break through the vacuum and produce a vast destructive force as though it contained divine might. My consciousness has become stronger too. If it was just the strength of his magic power, it would not be much. However, Xia Ping realized that his soul power had become more terrifying. Previously, The range of his consciousness had reached a distance of 4 billion light-years. However, after advancing to the demigod realm, the range of his consciousness had increased to a distance of 10 billion light-years. Thanks to the strength of his soul power, his illusory abilities had also improved exponentially. With a single thought, he could create 1,000,000 illusory worlds. Xia Ping could not help but clench his fists. He tried to stack 1,000,000 illusory worlds and actually produced an unbelievable change. The illusory worlds previously were merely illusions that could affect the soul and memories of living beings. However, after stacking 1,000,000 illusory worlds, the quantitative change had produced a qualitative change. The endless illusory worlds stacked together and the endless illusory power fused together, producing an unbelievable change that allowed illusions to interfere with reality. It seemed that under such illusory power, everything that he imagined would become reality. Things that were born in such illusory worlds would also slowly turn into reality. Vaguely, he seemed to have touched the boundary between illusory and reality. When the illusory reached the extreme, everything would become real. The supreme realm of illusory arts is to turn illusory into reality, turning illusory into reality? Xia Ping sensed that his understanding of illusory arts had increased to the next level. He even comprehended the great Tao laws of illusory arts and great Tao laws of reality. Endless nomological information surged into the depths of his sea of consciousness like a torrent. Only a second had passed in reality, but he felt that he had spent billions of years comprehending the origin laws of the universe. After reaching the great circle of the demigod realm, all that was left was to comprehend the great Tao laws. The more great Tao laws one grasped, the stronger one would be after advancing, and the more foundations one would have. Right? The feathered serpent god's clone is currently duplicating the great Tao laws of the 3 sovereign grade godheads. It's also duplicating these godheads so that it can control more great Tao laws. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. To be honest, just duplicating a sovereign grade godhead would allow him to control 1,000 great Tao laws. The problem was that such a great Tao was merely the path that the sovereign had taken. It was not the path that Xia Ping wanted to take. Even if he succeeded in duplicating it, he would only follow in the footsteps of that sovereign. He duplicated the great Tao laws of the godheads in order to obtain more information about great Tao. Then, he would choose the great Tao laws that were suitable for him and condense a godhead that belonged to him. Chapter 29-21. Moreover, even though 3,000 godhoods seemed like a lot, some people believed that after replicating the great Tao laws of 3,000 godhoods, they should be able to grasp 3,000 great Taos. But in fact they are two different things. Even though there were 3,000 godhoods, in reality, the majority of godhood's great Tao laws were repeated. For example, a god grasped 9 great Tao laws, but 8 of them were the same as the other gods. Only one of them was different, and it would condense a different god's authority. When the 3,000 grand Tao laws combined together, it would produce trillions of variations, like the eternal sands. Therefore, even if Xia Ping successfully replicated all the great Tao laws of the 3,000 godheads, he still wouldn't be able to completely grasp the 3,000 great Taos. Just like the feathered serpent god, it had possessed this ability for an unknown number of years, and it had replicated the authority of countless gods, but it was still unable to grasp the 3,000 great Tao laws and advance to the highest realm. From this, one could imagine how difficult it was. However, it was still possible for him to advance to the sovereign realm with this ability. My bloodline power has also increased. After advancing to perfect stage demigod level, Xia Ping also discovered that the infernal golden crow cells in his body were awakening at a crazy rate. The power of the bloodline in his body was extremely dense. Previously, he had awakened 60 trillion golden crow of hell cells, but now he had awakened 80 trillion golden crow of hell cells. It could be said that 80% of his golden crow of hell bloodline had been awakened. He could feel that every drop of his blood had merged with the flames of the golden crow of hell, and every bone of his was covered with dense runes of hell, as if they were scriptures. At the same time, he also sensed the countless souls of the golden crow of hell's family members scattered everywhere in time and space like light spots. Even though they were separated by a universe, he could clearly sense the souls of these dependents. There seemed to be a firm thread of karma linking them together. He also realized that during this period of time, the number of furnace sorcerers in the fiend god universe had increased. They had spread like a plague to every corner of the fiend god universe. Although he had only returned to the modern world cosmos not too long ago, the flow of time in the fiend god cosmos was different. A day in the modern world cosmos was 100 years in the fiend god cosmos. One could imagine how many years had passed in the fiend god universe since Xia Ping returned to the modern universe. Without the threat of evil creatures, humans immediately exploded out with terrifying reproductive abilities. This caused the human population to grow explosively, and the human population increased by many times. Therefore, it was only natural that the number of furnace wizards increased. Thanks to the increase in the number of furnace wizards, Xia Ping was able to obtain even more origin energy. Forget it, let's not worry about the evil god universe for now. The most important thing now is to comprehend the Great Way Law and determine the path after advancing to the deity realm. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He would probably have to go into seclusion for a while. During this time, his feathered serpent clone would be able to analyze the great Tao laws in all the godhoods and control them one by one. At the same time, he would completely consolidate his cultivation and prepare to advance to the divine realm. At this moment, in the forbidden zone of darkness. When Xia Ping killed the gods and took Gaia with him, the old-timers in the dark forsaken region were alarmed. Terrifying waves of consciousness awakened one after another, piercing through space and time in all directions, startling the endless void storms and setting off boundless waves and waves. Many ancient existences were awakening at this moment. That's why they're awake. What Xia Ping did was to cut off the path of survival for the old-timers. They had painstakingly cultivated Gaia Paradise just to obtain a body that could be reborn. However, Xia Ping had cut off their path. One could imagine the hatred in their hearts. Baptiste and the others failed and lost all of Gaia. Even they were killed. An ancient existence said, "Damn Baptiste. He's just a piece of trash. He can't even deal with a mere demigod. What's the use of them?" An ancient existence roared angrily. If it wasn't for the fact that it couldn't fight, it would have jumped out of its grave and killed Baptiste again. That bastard can't do anything right. According to the news they sent back, it was said that the one who killed Baptiste was a demigod human called Xia Ping. This human has extraordinary power. He's just a demigod realm human, yet he's able to kill 3,000 gods that have been possessed. What kind of joke is this? Could it be that after sleeping for so long, those gods have forgotten how to use their power? I can only say that those guys are trash. They're complete trash. They're just lucky to wake up earlier. They're all dead after encountering a demigod. I told you not to count on the help of these trash. Now we've been wiped out. Our bodies are gone. What should we do now? Voices rang in the cemetery deep inside the dark forbidden zone. They were furious. Their previous plan was completely disrupted, which made them extremely annoyed. It doesn't matter. We still have a backup plan. Possessing Gaia is just the best plan. It's just a body. We can have as many as we want. It's a pity that we can't be reborn perfectly. An ancient existence said in a deep voice. Damn human Xia Ping. It's all because of this bastard human. How did this guy find Gaia Paradise? I remember that we have already cast multiple divine spells on Gaia Paradise, concealing all traces of this place. No demigod should be able to discover Gaia Paradise. It doesn't matter how he found Gaia Paradise. In short, this kid did find it. He even ruined our plan and killed our companions. He's a sinner. We must find him. We must find this stupid and lowly human and snatch all of Gaia back. I want this stupid human to know what the wrath of the gods is. That's right. We must kill this stupid human and exterminate his 9 generations. He actually dared to destroy the gods' plan. He's simply courting death. I must make him live in eternal pain. Don't let him die so easily. Let him continue living. Use the iron chain to pierce his shoulder blade. Make him unable to break free, unable to sleep, and unable to bend his exhausted knees. Use the spear to pierce through his chest. Let his blood flow continuously. Let him endure hunger, the wind, the sun, and the rain. Let him suffer all the pain. One by one, the ancient existences gritted their teeth. One could imagine their hatred for Xia Ping. They simply wished they could tear this guy into pieces because this bastard had almost destroyed their hope of resurrection. This was equivalent to taking their lives. Sogu Reading Website. Chapter 29-22. While Xia Ping was in seclusion, 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. In these 3 years, the Abyss world had undergone earth-shattering changes. Many invincible realm Abyss demons gathered together. The demonic energy was dense, and the Demon Lord was the leader of this group of Abyss demons. He emitted an incomparably terrifying demonic energy that shook the void. The plan is ready to begin. The Demon Lord opened his eyes and said. His voice buzzed and shook everywhere. It was as if he had completely lost his human emotions and turned into a demon. He was completely swallowed by the power of the abyssal demon tree. Demon Lord, is it finally starting? The invincible demons were extremely excited. They had prepared for billions of eras just for this moment. They wanted to take revenge for the primordial era. They remembered how they were chased back to the Abyss world by the other races in the primordial era. They would never forget such humiliation. Demon Lord, isn't it a bit hasty? An invincible demon asked. This plan was much earlier than before. No, it's not hasty. It's so early to catch the other races off guard and not give them any time to react. The Demon Lord clenched his fists. When they invaded the Abyss world, we knew that they knew a lot about our plan. Since that's the case, there's no need to continue hiding. Let's fight the other races openly. A murderous aura emanated from his body. Yes, Demon Lord. The invincible demons roared. They had been waiting for this for a long time. To be honest, they were extremely confident in this war. They thought that they were already in an invincible position. Because even if they couldn't successfully invade the modern universe this time and were defeated by the other races, they could return to the Abyss world to recuperate and wait for the next opportunity. It could be said that they didn't fear the other races at all. The demon race wouldn't face the danger of extinction. On the other hand, the other races had to fight with their backs against the wall. Otherwise, they would definitely die. They had all the advantages in this war. Let's do it. Tear apart the seal of the other races. The Demon Lord's eyes flashed coldly. He activated the vast demonic energy in his body and communicated with the abyssal demon tree. Rumble. In an instant, the abyssal demon tree that seemed to have not moved since ancient times finally moved. This was the strongest demonic creature rooted in the Abyss world, and it had absorbed the terrifying energy of the 18 god corpses. Its movement was earth-shattering. Dong dong dong. In the blink of an eye, countless branches extended from its body. Each branch was like a god-slaying spear. They shot out and fiercely attacked the void passageways in every corner of the Abyss world. In just an instant, all the void passageways that had been sealed by all the races in the universe were shattered, and all the seals were destroyed by this attack. All of the living beings guarding the passageway were killed by this attack and turned into dust. Crush. The next second, the true body of the abyssal demonic tree moved. Countless dark roots extended out from its body like a spider web, densely covering the entire modern universe. It was as if its body had enveloped the entire modern universe. At the same time, every root on its body was instilling a huge amount of abyssal demonic energy. With these void passageways as the core, endless abyssal demonic energy spread out, causing the passageways to form a terrifying demonic domain. If the living beings of the modern universe dared to approach this place, they would definitely be eroded and completely degenerate into abyssal creatures, thus losing all rationality. Suddenly, the entire modern universe was shaken. The number of void passageways leading to the abyss in the universe was equivalent to the number of abyssal demon lairs and the amount of abyssal demonic energy surging out. The void of the universe turned into an abyssal domain, and endless abyssal demonic energy spread everywhere. Moreover, the countless roots of the abyssal demon tree were also deeply rooted in the real universe. They were frantically devouring the origin energy of the modern universe and transforming it into abyssal demonic energy. As time passed, the entire modern universe would definitely be transformed into the abyss world. All life in the modern universe would definitely die, and only the abyssal demons would be able to survive and adapt to this world. You don't need to invade other regions of the universe. Just stay where you are and guard the demon lairs. The demon lord said solemnly, as long as there is enough time, the power of the abyssal demon tree will slowly devour and erode the entire modern universe, then transform it into a place suitable for us abyssal demons to live in. We are already in an invincible position. Yes, demon lord. The invincible demons were extremely excited. They still remembered the painful lesson of the battle in the abyss in the immemorial era. It was because they always attacked the enemy's home ground and fought where the enemy had the advantage. How could they not be defeated like that? But it was different now. They were fighting in the demonic domain. They only needed to guard the demon lairs and not let the living beings in the universe kill the abyssal demon tree. As time passed, the power of the abyssal demon tree would definitely permeate the modern universe and spread its roots to every corner of the modern universe, thus transforming the modern universe into the abyss. This way, the living beings in the universe would have to enter the demonic domain to fight them. And they would wait at ease, even setting up many traps in their lairs to gain the upper hand. If this still failed, then they would just die. It could be said that they would definitely win this time. They would definitely be able to take revenge for the immemorial era. Kiki, all the races in the universe, you are dead this time. As expected of the demon lord. You forced all the races into a desperate situation with just one move. This time, it will be hard for them to not die even if they want to. Although all the races in the universe will die as time passes, I still hope to personally kill these despicable fellows and take revenge for the immemorial era. It's fine. Those saints of all the races are not willing to die. If they don't want to die, they must attack the abyssal demon tree and destroy the demon god. Only then will they have a chance of winning. Looks like the current situation is very simple. We just have to guard the abyssal demon tree. As long as we guard it long enough, all the races in the universe will be finished. But if we don't guard it well and the races in the universe kill the abyssal demon tree, then we will lose. How can they kill the abyssal demon tree? Even without us invincible demons, no matter how powerful the races in the universe are, they won't be able to deal with the abyssal demon tree. No. We can't underestimate these fellows. We still have to be wary of their methods. It's time to summon the bright sun demons. After raising them for so long, it's time to let them do some work. In this battle, the real universe will definitely disappear. We demons will definitely win. Many invincible demons laughed and were extremely excited. Chapter 29-23. The moment the abyssal demonic tree made its move and destroyed all the sealed passageways, this scene shocked all the sages of the various races and stirred up the entire modern universe. In particular, the massive abyssal demonic chi that seeped out of these sealed passageways instantly turned the surrounding star domain into a demonic domain. It was a land of death. Although they had long ago relocated a large number of life forms near the passageways to deal with this situation, there were still many life forms left in this place. The moment the abyssal demonic chi surged out, these life forms all died. They were instantly corroded by the abyssal demonic chi and transformed into abyssal demons. If they could not withstand it, their bodies would explode and they would die. In an instant, there were countless deaths and injuries in the entire universe. Even from the depths of the passageways, countless abyssal demons ran out. They were all burning, killing, and plundering in a frenzy. Although their mission was to protect these passageways and the roots of the abyssal demonic tree, due to the nature of demons, they did not mind devouring all the life forms nearby and plundering their treasures. Damn it, what's going on? Why wasn't there any news of the abyss attacking the modern universe? Didn't they say that there would be at least a few hundred years before they attacked the modern universe? One of the sages was in disbelief after hearing this news. According to their previous speculations, the invasion of the abyss demons would be at least a few hundred years later. Moreover, after their joint operation to heavily damage the abyss, This time should have been delayed. However, in just a few short years, the demons had actually launched an attack on the modern universe. This was far beyond their expectations. Previously, it was just speculation. The abyss is still in the hands of the demon lord. With a single command, he can change the plan at any time. Our speculations are meaningless. Moreover, we have long made preparations for this. Aren't we prepared for war? A sage said solemnly. Even so, those abyss demons are too arrogant. They simply do not respect the various races in the universe. I'm afraid that this group of abyss demons is already confident of victory. That's why they dare to be so arrogant. Damn it, the abyssal demonic tree. They have the abyssal demonic tree as their ultimate weapon. We can't let the abyssal demonic tree continue to grow. Otherwise, the entire modern universe will be transformed into an abyssal demonic domain. When that happens, all the various races in the universe will perish. Many sages discussed among themselves. Their expressions were extremely solemn. In fact, they knew the plans of the Chaos Abyss like the back of their hands, and the Chaos Abyss didn't care at all. This was because this was an open and above-board plot. Everyone was relying on actual strength, and there weren't too many schemes. If he could block it, he would live. If he couldn't, he would die. However, such a simple scheme had forced all the races in the universe into desperate straits. Without a doubt, the Abyssal Demon Master was borrowing the power of an irresistible force to suppress all the races in the universe. You make it sound so simple. If we could kill the Abyssal Demonic Tree so easily, we wouldn't have such a headache. A sage said in a deep voice. They were well aware of the power of the Abyssal Demon Tree. Although the Abyssal Demonic Tree was not yet a god, it borrowed the origin energy of the abyssal world to display a combat power many times that of its main body. Even though it wasn't a god yet, it already possessed the combat power of a lower god. One must know that the gap between a demigod and a god was like the difference between the heavens and the earth. This gap was many times greater than the gap between a lightning tribulation realm cultivator and a sempiternal realm cultivator. Even if many demigods attacked together, they would not be a match for a god. That was why their expressions were so solemn and filled with despair. Right, what about the dragon race, Chelan race, and phoenix race? Can we let these races participate in the battle and deal with those abyssal demons? A sage wanted to invite those races from the previous universe to participate in the battle. After all, they had fought alongside them in the immemorial era. Times have changed. Those races rejected our request to join forces. It is said that they are preparing to revive their race's god. They do not intend to exhaust their race's strength at this time. A sage said in a deep voice, "Damn it. They are actually planning to revive a god from the previous universe. If they succeed, their threat will probably be even greater than the abyssal demons." A sage gritted his teeth. To be honest, even if they defeated the invasion of the abyssal demons, the races in the universe would not be in a good situation, because there were still many old, undying gods eyeing them. They could revive at any time in this era. At that time, it would be the era of gods. All races would be enslaved by the gods. This was just like the evil god universe. All mortals were food, and only the gods could control everything. Forget it. Even if they want to revive a god, is it that easy to revive a god? This is a long-term concern. Let's deal with the invasion of the abyssal demons first. If we cannot get through this, we will all die. A sage said in a deep voice. There is no need to think about it. Let's fight to the death with the abyssal demon tree. We will die if we surrender or risk our lives. We might as well go all out. At least we will have a chance of survival. Many sages gritted their teeth. They understood the conflict with the abyssal demon tree. This was an irreconcilable conflict. It was a battle to the death. Once they lost, their race would be wiped out. They could not retreat. We've already prepared for this. Countless sages will unite and attack the abyssal demon tree together. If we can kill the abyssal demon tree, then there's nothing to fear about the abyssal demon tree. If we can't kill the abyssal demon tree, then everything will be over. What about those mortals near the abyss passageway? Let's give the order to evacuate to a safe area first. Right, the most important thing now is to kill the abyssal demon tree. If we can't, they will die even if they hide at the end of the universe. The sages discussed. They had already made up their minds. So. After a long-distance meeting, all the sages gathered together. They gathered the power of countless sages and planned to attack the abyssal demon tree. They planned to finish the battle in one fell swoop and were not playing around. And the abyssal demon tree was the same. They would use their greatest power to protect the abyssal demon tree. As long as the abyssal demon tree's power reached every corner of the universe, they would win. So they did not need to take risks. They just needed to defend their base and they would win. It could be said that this war was beneficial to the abyssal demon tree. Walala! In just a few days, all the sages scattered across the universe gathered in the sacred land of the human race. As the human race had the universe virtual network, they could contact each other at any time. Immediately, all the sages of the various races gathered together. Chapter 29-24. Meanwhile, in the world of the classic of mountains and seas. Boom! At this moment, Xia Ping finally woke up from his seclusion. Although only 3 years had passed in the outside world, Xia Ping had actually spent hundreds of millions of years in the eternal clock's domain. During this time, he had been using the feathered serpent god's authority to replicate the great path nomological powers and various authorities in the godhoods. After spending hundreds of millions of years, he had finally succeeded. He had replicated all the authorities and taken the opportunity to grasp 2,000 great path nomological powers. It could be said that without the authority of the feathered serpent god, it would take him a long time to grasp so many great path laws by himself. Of course, without so many godhoods, he would not have been able to replicate so many great path nomological powers. It could be said that he was standing on the shoulders of countless gods to obtain such benefits. At that moment, Xia Ping sensed that great paths had appeared in the depths of his sea of consciousness. They were all condensed from boundless nomological runes. Every great path seemed to be a chain of order. They contained incomparable mysteries and were unfathomable. He finally understood why gods who had mastered great path nomological powers were so terrifying. It was because great path domains formed by great path nomological powers could easily change the various laws in the universe and permeate the universe's spacetime. Mortals could not fight back at all. If a sage's domain was said to suppress the power of mortals and enemies, then a god's domain was said to change the enemy's domain, change the laws of the universe, and tamper with the nature of power. This was a fundamental difference that could not be compared at all. Therefore, no matter how many demigods attacked together, they could not do anything to a god, even the lowest level lower god. Xia Ping had found it difficult to kill a lower god, but he had a super artifact. It was equivalent to him being a demigod, but he had the power of a god. The next step is the god realm. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. In fact, it was very simple for a demigod to advance to the god realm. He just had to condense the great path nomological powers together and condense them into nomological crystals. Finally, he would give birth to a godhood. The godhood was a combination of great path nomological powers and contained endless mysteries. At the same time, it was also a cultivator's understanding of the great path that allowed him to embark on his own god path. Next, he could fuse the Grand Tao laws together to form his own sovereign grade godhead. However, different Grand Tao laws would form different powers. To be honest, he had already obtained a few sovereign grade godheads. He could follow the path of the previous sovereign deities and form the same godheads and powers. However, the path that these sovereigns took was not the path that Xia Ping wanted to take. Therefore, he chose to give up and decided to condense his own authority. But in this way, he could only ascend to the divine realm if he found the most suitable path for himself. I still lack origin energy. Xia Ping clenched his fist. However, this was not the biggest obstacle to advancing to the god realm. The biggest obstacle was actually the amount of energy needed to condense a sovereign rank godhead. This was simply an astronomical figure. If he wanted to become a high god, in truth, based on the amount of prime essence energy he had accumulated, he would definitely be able to succeed. After all, The difference between a superior god and a sovereign god was too great. The amount of energy required by the two couldn't be compared. It was like comparing an ant to an elephant. No, perhaps the difference would be even greater. However, he was not willing to do so. He was ambitious and wanted to directly condense a sovereign-grade godhead. This way, his potential would be great and he would have a chance to advance to the creation god realm. Therefore, Xia Ping resisted the urge to advance to the god realm and suppressed his desire to break through. But it's not impossible to obtain a huge amount of universe origin energy. Xia Ping touched his chin. One of the ways was to enter the fiend god universe and burn the evil gods to death, especially the sovereign grade ones. He could use them as sacrifices to obtain a huge amount of universe origin energy and help him break through in one go. The problem was that with his demigod cultivation, burning a sovereign to death was simply a fool's dream. Entering the fiend god universe was not burning evil gods to death, but courting death. There was also a second way. That was to become the sovereign of the hell plane and unify all the demons. This way, he would be recognized by the hell plane and might even be able to obtain the entire hell plane's origin energy. Moreover, the hell plane itself was an extremely mysterious universe. It had once lived 9 lives, so one could imagine how huge the origin energy it contained was. It was just that it was still in the process of growing and its potential had not been fully unleashed. If he continued to promote the hell plane's growth, it would definitely restore the hell plane to its former glory and unleash its true potential. This world was similar to the revival of spiritual energy. It was slowly recovering to its peak state, and all kinds of hidden secret realms and ruins would appear. Once the hell plane recovered to its peak state, it would definitely help him advance to the ruler realm. Master! At this moment, Green Ox's voice sounded. What's wrong? Xia Ping's heart stirred as he asked. He knew that Green Ox would not contact him so casually if nothing had happened. Something big has happened in the modern world universe. The Abyss demons have already launched a large-scale attack on the modern world universe. The abyssal demon tree's power has already corroded half the universe. It won't be long before the entire universe will be transformed into the abyssal demon domain. Green Ox said solemnly, How can it be so fast? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. According to his previous calculations, there should still be a long time before the Abyss would attack the modern world universe. However, only a few years had passed, and the Abyss demons had already begun to attack the modern world universe. I'm not sure of their plans, but they have indeed begun to attack. Now, there are Abyss demons appearing everywhere in the universe, and countless void passages connecting to the Abyss have appeared. Each passage is formed by the abyssal demon tree's roots. Its roots have already covered half the universe, and its growth rate is far beyond the imagination of other sages. Green Ox said, It's growing so fast? Could it be that the abyssal demon tree obtained some treasure during this period of time? Xia Ping frowned and said, Forget it. No matter what treasure the abyssal demon tree obtained, it can't behave atrociously in the modern world universe. This is the territory of the various races, not the Abyss. He clenched his fists, and killing intent surged. If it was in the past, he would not have the confidence to face the Abyss. But the current Xia Ping, a mere Abyss, could no longer pose any threat to him. Chapter 29-25. Buzz Buzz. At this time, Xia Ping also sensed the messages from the World Tree. He nodded. I see. The time is almost ripe? I can swallow the abyssal demon tree and evolve the world tree. He sensed the messages from the world tree. It said that the seeds it had left in the abyssal demon tree had sprouted. It was time to harvest them. In fact, the faster the abyssal demon tree grew, the stronger it was. It was also the greatest benefit to the world tree. Then let's go meet those abyssal demons. With a whoosh, Xia Ping's figure flashed and he left the classic of mountains and seas world. He returned to the modern universe. As expected, there's a problem with the origin of the modern universe. Xia Ping's eyes flashed. He sensed that the entire origin of the modern universe was trembling. It was as if its core was wrapped by countless black roots and was madly absorbing the origin energy. The origin of the modern universe was being eroded by the abyssal demon tree at a visible speed. It was being instilled with a huge amount of abyssal demon chi and slowly transformed into abyssal demon power. The origin of the modern universe also unintentionally let out a whimper, trying to resist the abyssal demon tree's devouring. This greatly suppressed the abyssal demon tree's devouring power and speed. But if the abyssal demon tree was not stopped soon, the origin of the modern universe would be devoured sooner or later. There are abyssal demons everywhere. Xia Ping looked at the surrounding starry sky. Boom! Immediately his divine sense spread out, covering a radius of 10 billion light-years. Star regions were all within the range of his divine sense, and everything was displayed in his soul in great detail. In his perception, these star fields were covered by endless abyssal demon chi. There were also countless void passageways that connected to the abyss. From these passageways, a huge number of abyssal demons walked out. They had ferocious expressions and murderous intent. They attacked the surrounding star fields, burning, killing, and pillaging. Countless lives died in the hands of the abyssal demons. There were countless casualties. The star fields were filled with the aura of death, slaughter, blood, and darkness. It was like a dead zone. Ordinary life forms were no match for the abyssal demons, who had been in battle for a long time. With a single exchange, they could kill countless ordinary life forms, causing the lives of many planets to perish. Although the most important thing right now was to deal with the abyssal demon tree and destroy the abyss demon's plot, they shouldn't stay here and deal with these small characters. However, to Xia Ping, dealing with these ordinary fiendish demons was nothing. He could do it with just a thought. Burn it out. Xia Ping moved his mind. Rumble. In an instant, all the abyssal demons within a radius of 10 billion light-years were stunned. A furnace fire seed erupted from their bodies and instantly ignited. Ah! The demon devils screamed, unable to withstand the heat of the hellfire crucible, and were reduced to ash in the blink of an eye. Moreover, it wasn't just one or two abyss demons that were affected. Instead, all the abyss demons within a radius of 10 billion light-years that contained the aura of the abyss were instantly burned to death and reduced to ashes. What happened? All the living beings, who had been in despair, were stunned. They had planned to close their eyes and wait for death. They were supposed to die under the butcher's knife of these demons. But in the next second, all the demons died. Not a single one was left. They were all burned to ashes, turning into huge dark golden torches that shot into the sky. Such a thing was simply a miracle. If they hadn't seen this, they wouldn't have believed that such a thing could happen. It was simply unimaginable. Great, it's the sage. The sage has made a move. One of them couldn't help but shout out in excitement. The sage really didn't abandon us. How can those stupid abyssal demons be a match for the sage? We won't die. Let's kill these demons. Turn them all to ash and burn them to death. All the living beings cried tears of joy, feeling as though they had survived a disaster. They were extremely excited and cried. Seeing the joy of these living beings, Xia Ping smiled. It seemed like he didn't need to rush to deal with the abyssal demon tree. He could just advance slowly. At least along the way, he could save many ordinary lives. Since that's the case, I'll take it slow. I'll sweep through step by step. If any abyssal demon appears on my path, then they're unlucky. Xia Ping wasn't arrogant enough to think he could save the entire universe. After all, the universe was just too big. No matter how fast he couldn't fly across the entire universe in an instant. But wherever he passed, wherever he saw, he wouldn't allow any demons to run amok. Rumble. In the next second, Xia Ping arrived at another stellar region. Whenever he arrived at a stellar region, all the abyssal demon tree would be instantly ignited and burned to ashes. Immediately, balls of raging flames appeared in the stellar regions. It was as though the stellar regions were being set ablaze by the flames of the golden crow of hell. All of the abyssal devil chi that covered the star field was burned to ashes and dispersed. At this moment, somewhere in the modern universe, that was the base camp of the abyssal demon tree. It was also where the main body of the abyssal demon tree was. In order to devour the origin of the modern universe, the main body of the abyssal demon tree came out of the forbidden zone. After all, It was impossible to devour the origin of the entire universe without the main body. In order to protect the abyssal demon tree, a total of 3,000 invincible realm abyssal demons were scattered everywhere. Even dozens of bright sun demons appeared in this place. This time, they were going to do their best to protect the abyssal demon tree. They wanted the abyssal demon tree's plan to succeed. They wanted to change the environment of the entire modern universe and turn it into a world suitable for demons to live in. If they succeeded, then the countless races in the universe would be doomed. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this moment, in the outer region of the demon base camp, the saints of the human clan, insect clan, machine clan, demon clan, elemental clan, and many other races appeared. They arrived near the abyssal demon tree and planned to launch an all-out attack. If they didn't get rid of the abyssal demon tree, all lives in the myriad worlds would be finished. Therefore, this was a fight to the death. They could only succeed, because the myriad worlds had no way out. If they took a step back, they would fall into a bottomless abyss. They would definitely die. All of them risked their lives to arrive at the base camp of the demons. Their bodies were filled with a terrifying murderous aura. Chapter 29-26. At the same time, on the other side, the elders of the dragon race, Qilin race, Phoenix race, Black Tortoise race, and other races from the previous era gathered together. They hid in the void and observed the war. After this war, no matter who won or lost, it would have a profound impact on the future of the universe. What do you think about the outcome of this war? A Qilin race elder asked. I'm afraid the abyss has the upper hand. The Phoenix race elder said, from what I see, the races in the universe are in danger. They are no match for the abyss. In fact, if we didn't intervene in the primordial era, they would have been finished. Now that we chose not to intervene, coupled with the expansion of the abyss world and the abyssal demonic tree's power, the races in the universe will probably be wiped out. It's said with certainty. Not necessarily. The races in the universe are still very strong. The abyss may not win. The Black Tortoise race elder said, what a joke. What can compare to a god? The abyssal demonic tree is probably not far from the god realm. With the support of the abyssal origin, it can exert the supreme power of a lower god. No matter how strong the races in the universe are, they are no match for the abyssal demonic tree. The Phoenix race elder sneered. Indeed. Without reaching the god realm, one doesn't know how terrifying a god is. The Qilin race elder nodded in agreement. If that's the case, why don't we help this time? You should know that if the abyss succeeds, the entire modern universe's environment will change and become unsuitable for our race to survive. The Black Tortoise race elder said, hee, you know the answer? The Phoenix race elder said, our race's god is about to awaken. Now is the crucial moment. We must not allow any side issues. What we need to guard against is the awakening gods of the dark forbidden zone, lest they cause trouble and ruin the awakening of our race's god. As for the modern universe's war, we can't intervene. After all, it's the war of this universe's era and has nothing to do with us. Once our race's god awakens, the abyssal demonic tree is nothing. We can expel it at any time and restore the real universe to its original state. They are just clowns. It was not worried that the abyssal demons would be able to dominate the real universe. Since these demons had the ability to change the current universe, as omnipotent gods, how could they not have the means to reverse this power? By the way, Samuel, what do you think about the outcome of this war? The Black Tortoise clan elder asked as he looked at Elder Samuel of the Dragon God Shrine in the distance. Well, let's just wait and see. Perhaps the myriad races aren't as weak as we think, and the abyssal demons aren't as strong as we think. Samuel said lazily. He crossed his legs and lay on the beach chair. He was reading the latest issue of the Dragon magazine, which was full of indescribable images. Interesting. Do you think that the myriad of races will win? Could it be that you know some secret? The Phoenix clan's elder narrowed his eyes. Who knows? To be able to become a race favored by the heavens of a universe, none of them are simple. Great Elder Samuel smiled faintly. At this moment, in an area of the universe, where the abyssal demon tree was stationed. This tree was extremely towering, and any one of its branches could penetrate a star field. The countless dark roots on its body even covered half of the current universe. Terrifying and rich abyssal demon energy emanated from its body, turning the area within a radius of billions of light-years into an absolute demon domain. Any living being that entered would be eroded. Dense abyssal runes appeared on its body, as if they were supreme abyssal scriptures, containing the endless power of laws. It was as if it was the embodiment of the abyss itself. And a total of 3,000 invincible realm demons were guarding around the abyssal demon tree. In addition, demons that had reached the immortal realm were also here, densely packed like an army. It could be said that the abyssal demon tree had turned out in full force. At this time, the Sage Coalition army of the myriad of races had also arrived. However, the number of top experts was obviously a level lower than the abyss. There were only 1,000 invincible sages. And this number was not even comparable to the many invincible demons that Xia Ping had subdued. But this was also something that could not be helped. After all, the current universe could not compare to the super-universe that had lived 9 lives in Hell World. The foundation was completely different. And most importantly, the current universe was still in its early stages. Gods had not even been born, so the number of invincible sages naturally could not be that many. If the current universe slowly evolved over time, it would definitely be able to give birth to more and more demigods. Kill! The Sage Coalition army of the myriad of races did not waste any words. This was a war of the survival of their race. The other party could not compromise, and they could not compromise either. Only by killing and determining the winner could they end the war. Let me blast open the defense of these abyssal demons. A machine race demigod shouted. Its voice was like thunder from the 9 heavens, shattering the vacuum of this universe and shattering the eardrums of countless demons. It displayed the terrifying power of sound waves. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, more than a dozen machine race demigods appeared beside him. Their faces were cold and expressionless, and their pair of mechanical eyes seemed to flow with endless streams of data. At this moment, their mechanical bodies collectively carried an incomparably huge black cannon. It was engraved with densely packed divine seals and filled with terrifying destructive power. This was the machine race's divine artifact, the omnidirectional Nirvana cannon. And this was a super divine artifact that the machine race had plundered from the Forbidden Darkness Zone. It contained extremely terrifying destructive power. With a single blast, the omnidirectional Nirvana cannon would be razed to the ground. Even a demigod would be blasted to death when facing it head-on. Originally, this was the machine race's ultimate weapon. Normally, they would not take it out. But at this moment, it was a moment of life and death for the myriad of races, so they took out this trump card. After all, if they did not use it now, they would not have the chance to use it in the future. Rumble! In an instant, more than a dozen machine race demigods took action. They instilled a huge amount of energy in their bodies and instantly activated the omnidirectional Nirvana cannon. Then, a terrifying energy cannon burst out. Boom! Instantly, the incomparably thick darkness energy barrier that covered the surrounding area was instantly penetrated by this cannon. Countless laws were shattered at this moment. Some powerful demons could not withstand this power and were instantly blasted into pieces. Instantly, blood flowed like a river in this dark region, and countless screams sounded. Chapter 29-27. Damn it, we can't let these fools continue behaving atrociously. Charge forward and destroy this omnidirectional Nirvana cannon. Seeing this scene, a demigod demon's expression changed drastically. If these machines continued to act recklessly, who knew how many of the abyssal demons would be bombarded to death? Immediately, they charged forward in a frenzy, setting off gales and waves. The demonic aura was dense, and the heavens and earth shook. These abyssal demons were not to be trifled with. Although they did not have as many artifacts as the other races, their bodies were the best weapons. Once they got close, they could slaughter this group of sages. Go to hell! Come out, great derivation furnace! At this moment, more than a dozen demigods of the elemental race made their move. They immediately took out a clan's guardian artifact. It was an incomparably huge divine furnace, engraved with densely packed divine restriction formations, emitting a heart-palpitating aura. At the same time, they mobilized the magic power in their bodies and frantically poured it into the Great Derivation Furnace, immediately activating all the restriction formations inside the furnace. Whoosh! Immediately from the depths of the Great Derivation Furnace, the elemental powers of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, light, darkness, and so on erupted. These violent energies surged out, forming a huge furnace. Within this furnace, any living creature would be instantly refined. Bang, bang, bang. One by one, the demons that charged forward were instantly strangled by the power of the Great Derivation Furnace like dumplings. They were all refined into atoms, leaving not even their bones behind. This was the terrifying part of the divine artifact, the Great Derivation Furnace. Once it appeared, it could simply refine everything. Earth, wind, water, and fire all appeared, as if it was reenacting the heavens and earth. It could be said that this divine artifact had completely unleashed the combat power of the elemental race's demigods. All of you go to hell. I am a demon sage, suppressing the heavens and earth and shattering the vacuum. At this moment, the demon race also appeared. More than a dozen terrifying demigods of the demon race appeared at once, and then they took out a super divine artifact, the Destiny Sphere. This was the clan's guardian artifact of the demon race, containing the supreme power of heaven's will. It was said that this sphere contained the boundless universe and the wishes of countless demons. When the sphere smashed down, it was equivalent to the wishes of billions of demons attacking the enemy at the same time. Even if many demigods joined forces, they would be half dead after being smashed by this sphere. Dong, in an instant, under the control of more than 10 demigods of the demon clan, the Destiny Sphere instantly expanded to the size of a star. It was incomparably huge and boundless. Vaguely, densely packed phantoms of monsters and boundless worlds appeared within the heavenly life sphere. Rumble, in the next second, the Destiny Orb smashed down from the sky, exploding with a terrifying pressure that could crush everything in its path. Many abyssal demons couldn't withstand the pressure and were instantly smashed into meat paste. Even their souls were smashed into smithereens by the Destiny Sphere. They died without a complete corpse. The Great Wheel of Liberation helps all living beings to be free. At that instant, the dozen or so insect tribe demigods made their move as well. They took out a clan-guarding divine weapon, the Great Liberation Wheel. This was also an incomparable divine artifact found in the Darkness Forbidden Zone. Its power was boundless, and once the Great Wheel of Liberation was unleashed, it helped all living beings break free. There were countless deaths and injuries. Every time the Great Wheel of Liberation appeared, it would definitely cause a great calamity to befall people, and blood would flow like a river. Crash! The dozen or so insect tribe demigods roared angrily and imbued a huge amount of magic power into their bodies. Such a top-notch divine artifact couldn't be activated by a single insect tribe demigod. Only when many insect tribe demigods joined forces could they unleash a portion of its power. In an instant, a huge wheel appeared in midair. It was like a full moon, emitting azure light that stretched across the void of the universe. It looked abnormally beautiful. But to the demons of the abyss, it was one of the most terrifying divine artifacts. It contained fatal killing intent, because this divine artifact, the Great Liberation Wheel, was a divine artifact that attacked the soul. Once it exploded with divine power, it could immediately help all living beings to be free, stripping their souls from their bodies, and completely crushing and devouring them. Bang, bang, bang. In the next second, the Great Liberation Wheel vibrated, and waves of soul fluctuations were triggered. Like ripples, they spread out and covered the area within a radius of 1,000,000 light-years. Ah! The demons of the abyss, including the demons of the invincible realm, couldn't help but let out shrill screams. They felt that their souls were violently hit, and they were shaken to pieces. In just a few breaths, many demons of the abyss died tragically. But before they died, they actually had smiles on their faces, as if they were extremely happy, as if they had been freed. The demon subduing pagoda suppresses all directions, suppresses time and space. At this time, the human demigods also made their move. They directly brought the divine artifact, the demon-subduing pagoda, from the holy land of Taichu. Boom! Suddenly, a huge pagoda descended from the void, directly crushing down. The time and space within a radius of tens of millions of light-years seemed to be suppressed, and all the time and space stopped flowing. The pagoda emitted a blinding light that easily suppressed countless fiendish demons, rendering them unable to move under such a terrifying gravitational force. This was the terror of the demon-subduing pagoda. Once the demon-subduing pagoda appeared, it could suppress endless time and space, and even demigods couldn't move. The treasure light that erupted from its body was enough to obliterate countless saints. Immediately, the moment the demon-subduing pagoda appeared, many demons of the abyss were instantly suppressed into a mass of powder and meat paste. They couldn't resist the terrifying power of the demon-subduing pagoda at all. At the same time, the other races also made their moves. Although they didn't have divine artifacts that only the top races could have, they still had supreme divine artifacts. In a battle like this, the supreme grade saint artifact could still unleash extraordinary battle prowess. It was enough to kill abyss demons one by one and shatter their souls. In an instant, countless demons of the abyss suffered heavy casualties. The saints of the various races were unprecedentedly united. They let go of their prejudices against each other, all for the sake of the demons of the abyss. Because if they didn't win this battle, all of them would die. They would die without a complete corpse, and their entire race would be wiped out. You're all asking for it? At this moment, from the depths of the void, an angry roar was heard. It was earth-shattering, shaking the time and space in all directions. The heavens and earth shook, and the stars trembled. Suddenly, a terrifying figure walked out from the depths of the abyss. His body emitted a vast demonic aura, as if he himself was the embodiment of the will of the abyss. He was the leader of the 3,000 demigod demons, the demon master. And the moment he appeared, the shadow of the demon tree of the abyss seemed to appear behind him, shaking billions of worlds. Boom! He directly punched out. This was a punch that came from a distant time and space. It instantly smashed onto the divine artifacts of those top races, displaying its terrifying might. Chapter 29-28. Dong Dong Dong. In an instant, the demon lord blasted out 9 punches. Each punch contained terrifying abyssal demonic power. It was as if he had mobilized the energy of the entire abyss. Boom! The punch landed on the machine race's omnidirectional nirvana cannon. The terrifying fist force shook time and space. It contained a trace of divine power. This power was simply capable of destroying everything. The heavens and earth shook. Ah! The machine race demigods let out shrill screams. They realized that they couldn't stop the demon lord's punch at all. Their divine artifacts were sent flying. When the power of this punch landed on more than 10 demigods from the machine tribe, more than half of the demigods from the machine tribe were instantly smashed into pieces. Even his soul was forcefully shattered by this punch, completely turning into powder. With just one punch, half of the machine race demigods were dead. The remaining ones were all severely injured. The parts in their bodies seemed to be densely packed with cracks. Another punch landed on the elemental race's great derivation furnace. It contained terrifying demonic power and condensed into a substance. It crashed over like a boundless planet. Block it! More than a dozen elemental race demigods shouted angrily. They controlled the great derivation furnace in an attempt to block this punch. However, it was of no use. The entire great derivation furnace took this punch head-on. It was instantly sent flying thousands of light-years away. Although the divine artifact Great Derivation Furnace was fine, the dozen elemental race demigods controlling it were extremely miserable. They had suffered a backlash. Immediately, half of the elemental race demigods were killed by this punch. The other elemental race demigods also vomited blood and were seriously injured. Quickly dodge. Seeing this scene, the dozen demon race demigods' expressions changed drastically. They tried to control the destiny sphere to dodge. However, the demon lord's attack was extremely fast. It was simply instantaneous. It surpassed the limits of time and space. Before they could react, this punch had already blasted over. With a boom, these demon-race demigods and their destiny spheres were also hit by this punch. Their entire bodies were sent flying. Terrifying energy erupted, instantly killing more than half of the demon-race demigods. The remaining demon-race demigods were also seriously injured. Oh no! The expressions of the many human demigods changed drastically as well. If even the demigods of the other races could not withstand the demon lord's terrifying punch, it was impossible for them to withstand it as well. The fist was about to strike, aiming directly at the Yao Ceiling Pagoda. The terrifying fist energy suppressed an entire star region. It was impossible to dodge or escape. Get out of my way. In that instant, Dark North Saint stepped forward and charged forward, controlling the Yao Ceiling Pagoda to unleash the terrifying power of the divine item. The punch smashed into the demon-banishing pagoda and Dark North Saint, producing a terrible destructive force that seemed to blow up the void, creating a terrible black hole. Meanwhile, Dark North Sage and the Yao Ceiling Pagoda were sent flying. The terrifying destructive power shook back and forth on Dark North Sage's body. If it was an ordinary demigod, he would have died long ago. However, Dark North Sage had obtained the unyielding authority. As long as he was in the middle of a battle, he would never die. He had forcefully blocked the Demon Lord's punch and saved the other human demigods. Otherwise, that punch just now would have killed more than half of the human demigods. But even so, Dark North Sage was still heavily injured, and his body was covered in numerous scars. How did the Demon Lord become so strong? The demigods could not believe it, because when they attacked the abyss last time, although the Demon Lord was strong, he was not this strong. He had completely surpassed them and reached a level that had never been seen before. Just 9 punches had killed a large number of demigods. It was as easy as cutting vegetables. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it. It was too ridiculous. Last time, he had not completely merged with the Abyssal Demon Tree, but this time, he has. I'm afraid the Demon Lord is the Abyssal Demon Tree, and the Abyssal Demon Tree is the Demon Lord. He is already in his complete form, which is why he can use such unparalleled power. Dark North Saint's expression was extremely solemn. When he entered the abyss last time, if the Demon Lord had been this strong, he probably would not have been able to leave the abyss. Clearly, in these few short years, the Demon Lord's power had changed qualitatively. No wonder he had brought forward the plan to attack the modern universe. Even the artifact can't stop the Demon Lord. What power can stop him? Many saints were in despair. They felt the invincible power of the Demon Lord. It was not something that humans could fight against. If they could not kill the Demon Lord, then all the lives in the universe would die and be completely extinct. Ah, foolish creatures, how dare you resist the great Demon Lord? You are like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. You overestimate yourselves. There is no need for the Demon Lord to do anything. Just us alone can kill you all. Come out, bright sun demons. Kill all these foolish creatures. The invincible realm demons laughed. Their demonic energy was dense. Rumble, in an instant, a total of 49 bright sun demons who had reached the invincible realm woke up. They were like dark suns in the void, emitting eternal heat and burning everything. The modern universe. This is the modern universe. Food, it's all food. There is delicious food here. Hee, we're out. We're finally out. These foolish creatures of the universe will all be devoured by us. 49 demigod-level bright sun devils awakened. Their massive bodies descended and instantly emitted boundless heat that burned the surroundings. The sunlight of an ordinary sun could give life to all things and promote their growth. However, the sunlight of these bright sun demons was extremely poisonous. It was like a ray of radiation. When it shone on a living being, it would instantly corrode the body and take away the life force. It was as if they were cursed. Every bright sun demon that had reached the level of a demigod had terrifying power. One of them could fight against 10 demigods of the same level, and their destructive power was extremely shocking. To the abyss, These bright sun demons were the strongest weapons of war. They were equivalent to peerless divine artifacts, or even divine artifacts. They could completely turn the tide of the battle. Whoosh, in an instant, the power of these bright sun demons exploded, turning the area into an endless sea of fire. It was as if the entire star region could be burned into ashes. Don't. Many of the sages could not resist the power of the bright sun demons. Their bodies could not withstand the power of the abyss demon fire emitted by the bright sun demons. They would be instantly burned to death if they came into contact with a trace of the abyss demon fire. Or they would directly degenerate into demons and have their souls corroded. The endless abyss demon fire spread over, wanting to burn all of these sages to death and turn them into cosmic dust. Sogu website. Chapter 29:29. Damn, these sun demons are too strong. They're huge and have powerful souls. They're hard to kill. A demigod's expression was ugly. To the saints of all the races, these sun demons were extremely difficult to deal with. They were one of the most terrifying weapons of the abyss. Because these bright sun demons were just too big, they were like stars. Even if a part of their body was destroyed, the bright sun demons could quickly recover. Even if they attacked the soul, the problem was that these sun demon souls were unbelievably strong and hard to attack. So these sun demons were unkillable monsters with powerful attacks. They were war machines that could turn the tide of a battle. Even if there were only 49 demigod sun demons, they could cause them great trouble. It would probably take them a lot of time just to kill these bright sun devils. And even if he killed these demigod sun devils, there were still many more abyss demons. There were even demon masters who had rested their strength and were eyeing them covetously. It could be said that the current situation was worse than ever. Right now, the entire battlefield was divided by the sun demons, making it impossible for them to work together. All the saints could only fight on their own. There's no time. We have to activate our backup plan on the abyssal demon tree. A demigod communicated with his divine sense. So soon? The war has only just begun. Another demigod said in shock. The severity of the matter is far beyond our imagination. The abyss is too strong. Yeah, especially the demon master. He's too strong. Without him, we wouldn't have lost so quickly. That's right. As long as we kill the demon master, we'll win. What sun demons? They're just ordinary characters. Dark North Saint, what do you think? Can you find a chance to trigger our backup plan? Many demigods communicated with each other, discussing. They decided to ignore the other demons and kill the demon master and destroy the abyssal demon tree. That way, they could decide the battle. No problem. I'm ready, Dark North Saint said in a low voice. His eyes were extremely calm. They had planned this for too long. That's good. I'll leave this to you. Many demigods were looking at Dark North Sage, because the key to whether or not they could kill the demon lord rested on him. Interesting, I seem to sense a trace of danger. Could it be that you are plotting something against me? At this moment, the demon lord's voice rang out. Since that's the case, all the more I can't let you guys live. What? Many of the demigods' expressions changed drastically. They had not expected the demon lord's abilities to be so terrifying that he could actually sense danger approaching. Experts of such a level would have their souls alert the moment they sensed a fatal danger approaching. From there, they would be able to seek fortune and avoid countless calamities. Boom! In an instant, the demonic lord made his move. He charged over from afar, intending to kill all of these demigods and completely eradicate any future troubles, lest they bring him any more trouble. Especially Dark North Saint, who was the most important person he had to kill. Demon Lord, it's too late for you to make a move. Detonate it for me. A cold light flashed in Dark North Saint's eyes. He formed a seal with both hands and seemed to draw some power from the void. Huh. Damn, is this the star explosion talisman? When did you put it on the abyssal demon tree? The demon lord's expression changed. He sensed that deep inside the abyssal demon tree, a light spot had appeared out of nowhere. There seemed to be billions of talismans placed in the depths of this light spot. Star explosion talisman. Hearing this, many of the abyssal demons' expressions changed drastically. They had all heard of such talismans before, because in the immemorial age, such star explosion talismans had slaughtered many abyssal demons. When a star explosion talisman exploded, its power was equivalent to the explosion of more than 10 stars. Such power was enough to kill an immemorial sage and shatter a part of the universe's vacuum. And how terrifying would the power of billions of star explosion talismans be when they exploded at the same time? It could probably easily kill a demigod and turn many demigods into ashes. The problem was that it was extremely difficult to make such a star explosion talisman. It required a star as the main material, and after hundreds of millions of years of refining, it could only be successfully made. If it was to make billions of star explosion talismans, it would probably take a very long time. It was estimated that since the immemorial age, these races had been preparing for this war. They had never stopped refining star explosion talismans, which was why they had accumulated so many. I see. The last time you attacked the Abyss world, it was to install these star explosion talismans on the abyssal demon tree, right? You wanted to kill the abyssal demon tree in one blow. The demon lord's eyes lit up. He immediately understood the actions of those sages. That's right. But it's too late for you to know this. Vanish from this universe. Dark North Sage did not waste any time. He immediately detonated billions of star explosion talismans. Retreat, retreat, retreat immediately. Many of the abyssal demons' expressions changed drastically. Their hair stood on end. If billions of star explosion talismans exploded at the same time, the resulting power would not only kill the abyssal demon tree, but also them. However, it was not only the abyssal demons that were retreating. Even the sages of the abyssal demons were retreating. The power of the star explosion talismans did not distinguish between friend and foe. If they did not retreat, they would also be killed by the explosion. The sages of the abyssal demons and the abyssal demons were desperately escaping. At this time, they simply wished their parents could give them 2 more legs. It's too late. All of you die. Dark North Sage's eyes flashed coldly. He did not show any mercy at all and directly detonated these talismans. Rumble, in an instant, billions of star explosion talismans attached to the abyssal demon tree exploded at the same time. This was like billions of stars exploding at the same time. The explosion was like the beginning of chaos, and everything collapsed. Even the center of the explosion produced a huge black hole that swallowed everything. Some of the abyssal demons that could not escape in time were instantly vaporized by this wave of energy. Not even residue was left. At the same time, many of the tree roots on the abyssal demon tree broke in the explosion. The entire universe roared and shook continuously. The passageways that connected the abyss and the modern universe also completely collapsed at this moment. They were all blown up. Even the demon lord was engulfed in this terrifying explosion. Tens of thousands of star regions were swept up by this terrifying wave of energy. It was simply destroying everything. Those sages that escaped from the aftermath of the explosion only saw that within the range of the billions of star explosion talismans, a huge dark mushroom had appeared. It covered the star regions for billions of light years. In this place, everything was obliterated. Chapter 29:30. Are they dead? All the sages looked grim. To be honest, they weren't sure that they could kill the abyss demonic tree and the demon lord. No matter how powerful the stellar explosion talisman was, it might not be able to kill these existences. But in fact, they also thought that even gods couldn't survive such a powerful explosion. Dark North, Empyrean Patriarch, Xiaoyao Patriarch, and other human ancestral masters sent him messages worriedly. They wanted to know Dark North Saint's current situation since he was near the center of the explosion. I'm fine. At this moment, Dark North Saint's voice sounded, but it sounded extremely weak. Great. You're still alive. Xiaoyao Patriarch and the others heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, they were astonished by Dark North Saint's unyielding power. He didn't die under such a powerful explosion. This ability was too heaven-defying. Was there no limit? Although I'm not dead, neither is the demon lord. Dark North Saint said in a deep voice. What? The human ancestral masters' expressions changed drastically. They had prepared so many methods just to kill the abyss demonic tree and the demon lord. But now, even this last method couldn't kill the demon lord. What kind of joke was this? Rumble, as soon as he said that, the thick mist at the center of the explosion dispersed. Instantly, the towering abyss demonic tree stood in the void, emitting a vast demonic energy like the abyss. The demon lord stood before the abyss demonic tree enscathed and emitted unparalleled demonic might as if the horrifying explosion didn't affect him at all. Even the invincible demons affected by the explosion were instantly protected by the demon lord. They hid behind the abyss demonic tree and avoided death. Impossible! The sages couldn't believe it, and their expressions turned ugly. Such a horrifying explosion couldn't kill the demon lord and the abyss demonic tree. What other methods did they have to kill them? Right now, they were simply helpless. Is this your backup plan? It's indeed powerful. If I hadn't used the 18 immortal corpses as the ultimate shield at the critical moment to block the power of the stellar explosion talisman, I might have been destroyed by you instantly. You did a good job. The demon lord looked calmly at the many sages, his words filled with murderous intent. Because what he meant was very simple. If even this kind of ultimate technique could not kill him, it meant that the saints in the universe were already at their wits' end, and there was no other way to kill him. 18 god corpses? The saints' expressions changed. They immediately saw the 18 undying god corpses in front of the abyssal demon tree. They were the corpses left behind by the gods of the last universe epoch. Even if it was a wreckage, it was still an undying god corpse. To a certain extent, it might even be more powerful than ordinary divine artifacts. If he used these 18 undying corpses to set up a formation, activating the undying energy within them, he could indeed create an invincible barrier in a short period of time. No wonder the demon lord and the abyssal demon tree were unscathed under such a terrifying explosion. It's over, it's really over now. The faces of the sages were ashen. They had used everything they had, but they could not do anything to this terrifying demon lord. Their hearts were filled with incomparable despair. In the depths of the space-time, the elders of the divine beasts also saw this scene. Yes, the outcome has been decided. All the sages in the universe used everything they had and still could not do anything to this demon lord. I'm afraid the modern world is already finished. It cannot withstand the power of the abyssal demon. A phoenix race elder shook his head, indicating that the outcome had been decided. If even the ultimate technique of the sages couldn't kill the demon lord and the abyssal demon tree, then what was there to see? This meant that the sages had used up all their tricks. Facing the menacing abyssal demon, the sages basically had no chance of winning. The only thing they could do now was to flee, hide, and evade the pursuit of the demons. Then, when the entire modern world was corroded by the abyssal demon tree, all living beings in the universe would be completely wiped out. This was already a foregone conclusion. I didn't expect the demon lord's power to be this terrifying. Just in terms of battle prowess, it's probably comparable to a lower god. A Chilan race elder's expression was extremely solemn, because after the death of the various races, the next step would be the races that survived from the previous universe. The two sides would definitely clash one day in the future. In other words, their enemy would definitely be the abyssal demons. In the era where the gods don't appear, the demon lord is the strongest existence. No one can do anything to him. This is troublesome. I didn't expect the demon lord to be this powerful. If he attacks our base, what should we do? The black tortoise race elder couldn't help but clench his fists. He had no doubt about the ambition of the abyssal demons. After the demon lord wiped out the various races, his next step would definitely be to deal with the races that survived from the previous universe. Moreover, in the ancient era, they had also dealt with the abyssal demons. With the narrow-mindedness of the abyssal demons, they would undoubtedly launch a war of revenge. That's not a problem. Our base is set up with all kinds of restrictive formations left by the gods. Even a lower god can't break through it. We don't have to worry about the threat of the abyssal demons. The Phoenix race elder said, "Right now, the most important thing for us is to revive those gods. As long as the gods are revived, the demon lord is just a clown." He didn't care about the threat of the abyssal demons. As long as they didn't leave their base, they would be safe. Of course, at that time, they wouldn't be able to appear casually. They could only stay in their base. However, this was only temporary. When the gods of their race awakened, the abyssal demons would all die. They could be turned into ashes with just a thought. The outcome has been decided. There's nothing to see. Let's go back and prepare. The Chilean race elder shook his head. He was still hoping that the various races would bring him a surprise, but he didn't expect to find anything. However, this had nothing to do with them. The beings born from this universe and those born from the previous universe had an irreconcilable relationship. Samuel, what do you think? The Black Tortoise race elder asked. Let's continue watching. The outcome hasn't been decided yet, right? Samuel smiled. What's there to watch? It's just a predestined ending. The Phoenix race elder sneered and looked at Samuel in disdain. He thought that this guy was just wasting time. Chapter 29:31. What should we do now? The sages looked at each other. They were helpless and didn't know what to do. Since you don't have any tricks up your sleeves, then go to hell. Today, all the races in the world will fall here. Demon Lord's eyes glinted with chilly light as extreme murderous intent surged around him. In particular, the abyssal demon tree behind it began to shake. Countless branches danced about, and it was as if each branch could easily pierce through millions of worlds. It was incomparably vast. Run. Run first. It won't be too late to attack after we study the abyss demon tree's weakness. A sage yelled. He wanted to retreat for now. We can't. We're already in the abyss demon tree's territory. Another invincible sage said with a grim expression. What? Many sages' expressions changed drastically. They sensed that the area spanning billions of light years seemed to be covered by the abyss demon tree's territory. This place was completely eroded by the abyss demon tree. Moreover, this universe's space-time had been covered by the territory, and the void in all directions was shrouded. It was impossible for them to travel through the void and leave. Right now, they were facing a crisis of certain death. Go to hell. Demon Lord was expressionless and didn't move, but the abyss demon tree behind him moved. Swoosh, swoosh. Billions of branches danced at the same time as if each branch was a god-killing spear. They easily pierced through the void with the power of space-time, and their speed was unbelievably fast. Boom, boom, boom. In just an instant, countless sages were killed in the vacuum of the universe. Many invincible sages were easily penetrated by the branches. At the same time, each branch contained horrifying abyss demon power. Once pierced through, the abyss demon power would immediately corrode the sages' souls. It could be said that the abyss demon tree killed the sages as easily as chopping vegetables. In just a few breaths' time, more than half of the sages were killed. Humans, go to hell. Many abyss demons also took the chance to attack. They hated humans the most, especially the bright sun demons. They also attacked, wanting to kill all the human sages. Oh no! The Xiaoyao ancestral master and the other unrivaled sages looked extremely grim. Not only were they besieged by the abyss demons, but they were also besieged by the abyss demonic tree. They were in a situation of certain death. At that moment, Dark North Sage had suffered from the explosion of billions of stellar exploding talismans. Even though he had survived, he had suffered extremely serious injuries and could barely fight back. Rumble, an endless torrent of laws surged over, destroying everything in its path. It bombarded the many saints of the human race, and the two forces were about to collide. Suddenly, the entire universe's vacuum shook and buzzed. Time and space stagnated. A huge hand reached out from the depths of the void and grabbed lightly. In an instant, be it the attacks of the human sages or the attacks of the demons from the abyss, they were all turned into nothingness. All the power was instantly shaken into nothingness by this grab. How is this possible? What was going on? Who was it? Who blocked our attack? The many demons from the abyss demons widened their eyes in disbelief. The torrent of laws they had blasted out was so horrifying that even a demigod would be shaken to death. But now, all the torrents of laws were shaken into nothingness by a mysterious big hand. They had never seen or heard of such a thing before. It's a human demigod. An invincible realm demon from the abyss realm couldn't help but yell. Then, they saw a figure stepping out from the depths of the void. It was a human demigod, and he emitted an unfathomable aura with godly might. He stood quietly in the void of the universe, his face expressionless as if his aura alone could suppress this area of the universe and immobilize any demigod. So, it's a human demigod. I'll let you fucking play tricks here. An invincible realm demon from the abyss realm yelled and instantly attacked, displaying the horrifying strength of a demigod demon. White Tiger Heavenly Fist. In an instant, it blasted out a punch, displaying the most powerful martial arts mystique. Indistinctly, the phantom of the White Tiger mythological beast appeared, containing destructive power. This punch seemed to include space-time, life and death, creation and other laws. It was all-encompassing and could be said to be the strongest punch among demigods. It was enough to easily blow up a world and turn it into powder. At this moment, that mysterious demigod of the human race struck out. Standing where he was, he did not budge a single inch as he punched out from where he stood. What? The White Tiger demigod realm demon widened its eyes in disbelief. It looked like an ordinary punch, but it was boundlessly terrifying and contained a power that surpassed everything else in the world. It seemed to see the shadow of an ancient divine elephant appear behind the human demigod, suppressing countless planes of hell and emitting an extremely horrifying aura. This punch came. Just the wind from the punch completely shattered its White Tiger Heavenly Fist. All the power of laws was shaken into nothingness at this moment. Impossible! The demigod White Tiger demon could not help but scream. It could not believe what was happening in front of it. The martial arts magic that it had blasted out was comparable to any demigod. However, the strength of the mysterious human demigod in front of it was so horrifying that just the wind from the punch shattered all the power of laws on its body. It was as if it was crushing dry weeds and rotten wood. Chapter 2932. It can't be. The Xiaoyao Ancestral Master, Empyrean Ancestral Master, and the other human ancestral masters were stupefied. They didn't expect that the human demigod who appeared out of nowhere was Xia Ping. It was unbelievable. No matter how hard they tried, they didn't expect such a thing to happen. According to their understanding, no matter how fast Xia Ping's progress was, he should only be an ancient saint. How could he have ascended to the demigod realm? The ordinary human saints were dumbfounded as well. They recognized Xia Ping, the most monstrous genius of the human race. But wasn't this kid just an immortal saint who had just ascended to the saint realm? How could he suddenly become a demigod and the 10th demigod of the human race? If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they would have thought that they were hallucinating. What's going on? What the hell is going on? Why was Cecily killed with a single punch? How did that happen? Who is this human demigod? How come we've never seen him before? Are you kidding me? Even a human demigod can't kill Cecily with one punch. The demigod demons went crazy. They couldn't believe what they were seeing and didn't know what was going on. It must be noted that Cecily was a demon at the peak demigod realm, a top expert second only to the demon lord. He was a horrifying demon like the Grand Elder and was almost invincible. Even if a demigod expert wanted to kill Cecily, he would need more than a dozen demigods to kill him, and it was only a possibility. Cecily would flee when he saw the situation was bad. If he fled with all his might, the dozen demigods wouldn't be able to kill him, and he might even escape easily. What was going on? The famous demigod White Tiger Demon was killed by a human demigod who appeared out of nowhere with one punch. They were shocked and furious, not knowing what to do. However, before the demigod demons could say or do anything, Xia Ping attacked again. His figure flashed and appeared in front of a group of demigod demons. There were a total of 30 to 40 demigod demons on the other side, but he brazenly attacked and blasted a punch at them. You are courting death. This group of demigods and demons who had planned to surround and attack the human were both shocked and enraged. They felt that this human demigod was simply too arrogant. Against so many demigods, he actually dared to attack. This was simply courting death. It was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. He was overestimating his own strength. All of them were enraged and instantly counterattacked. Boom. But it was useless. Xia Ping punched out with boundless power, shattering the vacuum and shattering the laws. In an instant, the counterattack of these demigods and demons was shattered. Crash! In the next second, the group of demigod realm demons were dumbfounded. All of their eyes were wide open as they watched their bodies crumble at this moment. It was as if they were disintegrating and collapsing inch by inch. All of the great path laws on their bodies turned into powder and their bodies turned into nothingness. One punch. It was just one punch. Dozens of demigod-level demons completely collapsed and died. Before they died, they revealed looks of disbelief, as if they could not believe that they had been killed with a single punch. But no matter what, at this moment, they instantly turned into ashes like fireworks, completely disappearing from this world. Oh my God! Is this a joke? Seeing this scene, the human sages were speechless. Just now, they were faced with a crisis of certain death as they were besieged by dozens of demigods and demons. Even if they could survive such a fierce siege, they would definitely suffer heavy casualties. No one knew how many human sages would perish. In fact, they were prepared. Even if they were to perish, they would teach these demons a lesson and at least drag a few of them down with them. But now, Xia Ping appeared out of nowhere and killed dozens of demigods and demons with just 2 punches, instantly saving the human sages from the crisis. Such power was simply domineering and invincible. So valiant. Darknorth, when did your disciple become so powerful? The Xiaoyao ancestral master was dumbfounded and almost speechless. He remembered that Xia Ping was just a little kid who had lived for less than 100 million years. Although he was very talented, he had not fully grown up yet. That was why he didn't call Xia Ping back even in such a war. Because he had to make a backup plan. Once the war was lost, at least the human clan would have a protector who could barely keep the human clan from perishing in this universe. But he never expected that this kid would be so ferocious and kill dozens of demigods and demons with one move. He was so powerful that it made people's hair stand on end. I don't know. The corner of Darknorth's saint's mouth twitched. To be honest, many sages wanted to ask him what was going on, but he wanted to know what was going on more. Although he was Xia Ping's master, he had never really taught this disciple of his. At most, he would give him some pointers occasionally, which was nothing. However, this disciple of his was so ferocious and rose up at an unbelievable speed. Before he could figure out what was going on, Xia Ping was already on the same level as him. No, it wasn't as simple as being on the same level. Based on Xia Ping's current combat strength, Xia Ping had surpassed him. He was a little sad. It hadn't been long, but his disciple had surpassed him. At this moment, the sages of other races also saw this scene and were all extremely shocked. Too fierce, really too fierce. When did the human clan give birth to such a terrifying demigod? Why haven't I heard of him before? Is this the human clan's backup plan? They've really hidden it well. I didn't expect there to be such a terrifying demigod. He killed dozens of demigods of the same level with one punch. What kind of joke is this? What kind of martial arts realm has he reached? Could he have ascended to the realm of gods? How can the human clan be so terrifying and even give birth to a powerhouse of this level? Is there still justice in this world? All the sages of various races were dumbfounded. They were also shocked by Xia Ping's ferocious combat strength just now. That kind of fist technique was simply sensational and made them tremble in fear. It wasn't just the sages of various races who were shocked. Even the many elders of the divine beast clans who were hiding at the side were dumbfounded. They also looked at this scene in disbelief. Even the dragon god shrine master Samuel, who was still reading a magazine, stopped reading. He narrowed his eyes and stared at Xia Ping, who was standing in the void, with a solemn expression. Chapter 29:33. Damn it. Damn human demigod. How dare you kill us demigod demons? Even now, they still want to resist. I think these humans want to die. They want to die. Kill him. Kill that human demigod. We must tear him to pieces. I knew these humans would definitely cause trouble. We can't be careless. Now, a scourge has indeed appeared. Attack! Kill this bastard! The abyssal demons roared in anger. They couldn't contain their anger. They already had the upper hand. Next, they would beat the sages while they were down. Like the autumn wind sweeping away the fallen leaves, they would kill all the sages in one fell swoop. But at this time, a puny human demigod actually dared to attack and kill dozens of demigod demons. This was simply a slap to their faces and a humiliation to their dignity. How could they tolerate such a thing? But before the abyssal demons could act, the group of bright sun demons seemed to sense something. They immediately moved. That's right. This aura. I've sensed this aura before in the abyss. Eat him. Eat him now. As long as we eat him, we can reach an unprecedented level. What demon master? What abyssal demon tree? None of them will be a match for us. Opportunity. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity that has never been seen since ancient times. The bright sun demons sensed the aura of the golden crow of hell's bloodline on Xia Ping. All of them went crazy. They gave up on killing the sages of the other races and gathered around him. In their eyes, there was only Xia Ping. Because Xia Ping's bloodline was too attractive to them, they couldn't resist it. Whoosh, in an instant, the 49 demigod bright sun demons charged over. Terrifying abyssal demon fire burst from their bodies, forming a black sea of fire. Wherever the black sea of flames went, everything was burned to ashes. Moreover, this power didn't differentiate between friend and foe. Whether it was the abyssal demons or the sages of the other races, as long as they came into contact with the abyssal demon fire, they would be burned to ashes. Are they crazy? Are these bright sun demons crazy? Why are they attacking us? Originally, a group of abyssal demons wanted to surround and kill Xia Ping. However, they discovered that the group of glorious sun demons were attacking them in a frenzy. They weren't even letting them off. Don't bother about them. If they want to kill that human demigod, just let them do it. We'll just watch from the sidelines. An abyss demon said in a low voice. He was already familiar with the personalities of the glorious sun demons. They were simply too conceited and would not even pay attention to the orders of the demon master, let alone the other abyss demons. If they dared to stand in front of the bright sun devil, they would definitely be killed. This bunch of damned glorious sun devils. It's best if both sides are heavily injured. Many abyssal demons were gnashing their teeth. Their hatred for the bright sun demon had reached its peak. Although these guys were members of the abyss, they were too arrogant, claiming to be the top predator, completely looking down on the other demons. If they didn't need to borrow their strength, they would have already joined forces to kill this group of bright sun demons. Retreat, retreat. The sages of the other races had goosebumps all over their bodies. They didn't dare to stand in the way of these glorious sun demons and quickly retreated. They were afraid that they would be swallowed by the bright sun demon. Whoosh, in an instant, these bright sun demons attacked. Endless abyss demon fire seemed to have transformed into countless sabers and swords. They contained terrifying lethality and instantly enveloped Xia Ping, intending to dismember him. Seeing this group of bright sun demons, Xia Ping remained expressionless and extremely calm. He stood where he was and punched again. Whoosh! This punch was extremely terrifying, and the wind from the punch shook the heavens and earth. It was as though there was an endless void storm that howled and shook the heavens and earth. The mountains collapsed and the earth cracked. The entire void of the universe was trembling. Vaguely, all the sages seemed to hear the wailing of ghosts and gods. It was as though the wind was howling. At this instant, all the flames that the bright sun demons had sent over were completely shattered by the wind from the punch. It was as though the flames had been extinguished by a strong gale. Impossible! Many abyss demons were so shocked that their eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. They knew how terrifying the bright sun demons' flames were. Even they couldn't withstand it. But now, a single punch was enough to extinguish the abyssal demon flames. One could totally imagine how terrifying the strength of this human demigod was. Oh no! At this instant, the 49 bright sun demons' hair stood on end. They felt a fatal killing intent from Xia Ping. It was as though the shadow of an archaic mythical bird had appeared behind him. They felt that they were in danger of being hunted. It was as though they were no longer predators, but prey. It was as though they had been targeted. Immediately, these bright sun demons felt a fatal danger and wanted to retreat. But it was too late. Xia Ping took a step forward and struck out with his claw. Bloodline Mystique, Infernal Golden Crow Claw. This claw attack was not fancy at all. It directly smashed out, reaching out from the void, ignoring any spatial distance, any temporal restraints, and any obstructions. It contained boundless killing intent and locked onto the aura of the 49 bright sun demons, sealing off space-time in all directions. At this instant, the claw seemed to have grabbed the space of billions of kilometers. It was as though an archaic mythical bird had descended from the void, grabbing a great thousand world with its huge claw and crushing it. Rumble. At this moment, the bodies of the 49 bright sun demons were completely crushed. The densely packed abyssal laws and abyssal runes on their bodies were all crushed. Their bodies were almost unable to put up any resistance. With just a single claw, they were squashed to death in the air like chickens. Even their souls were crushed to pieces at this moment. Not even their bones were left, and they completely exploded. Generally speaking, demigod experts like the bright sun demons were very difficult to kill. Even if a group of demigods surrounded them, they could easily escape and break out of the encirclement. But now, they could not escape even if they wanted to. That was because the claw was too powerful. It instantly sealed off space-time in all directions and even locked onto their souls, leaving them with nowhere to run. Therefore, with just a single claw, the 49 demigod bright sun demons were all killed. It was as though they had been killed by an archaic mythical bird with a single claw. They were completely reduced to ashes. Good stuff. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. After the 49 demigod bright sun demons died, the origin energy that their bodies dispersed was extremely rich. It was equivalent to the energy of 49 superstars. This was a great supplement for him. He did not know how many infernal golden crow cells it could awaken. Chapter 2934. Whoosh, Xia Ping opened his mouth, and the origin energy of the 49 demigod solar demons surged into his body like a tide, into his limbs, bones, and even into every cell. This was simply an unparalleled supplement. He could feel the endless golden crow of hell cells awakening in his body. His bloodline power was increasing rapidly, and the vast origin energy was surging. After devouring the 49 demigod bright sun devils, Xia Ping's bloodline power had increased by a large margin. 100 billion, 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion. In the end, he had awakened 15 trillion hell golden crow cells in his body. He had already awakened 80 trillion golden crow of hell cells, and now he had awakened another 15 trillion. In other words, he had awakened 95 trillion golden crow of hell cells. He still had 5 trillion golden crow of hell cells left, and he could completely awaken the golden crow of hell bloodline. At this moment, Xia Ping felt unprecedentedly powerful. The golden crow of hell flames surged in his body, and even his breathing seemed to be filled with terrifying flames that could burn the world. But when the abyssal demons saw this, they were horrified. Impossible, this is impossible. A demigod demon was in disbelief. 49 demigod luminous demons. They're strong enough to sweep everything in their path, but they were killed by a demigod human with just one claw. What kind of joke is this? To be honest, even if there were hundreds of demigods and demons, they might not be able to fight against 49 demigods. The abyssal demon fire that erupted from their bodies could burn everything. No demigod would be able to fight against it. That was why the solar demons were known as the ultimate weapons of the abyss. But now, such powerful solar demons had been killed by a human demigod with one claw. He was so strong that it was a complete mess. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed such a ridiculous fact. Preposterous. This is too preposterous. He killed 49 demigod solar demons with a single claw. Just what did this human demigod do? Just what did he do? Impossible. Illusion. This must be an illusion. How can something so ridiculous happen in the world? Where did this human demigod come from? Why does he possess such terrifying power? Many abyssal demons were shocked. Looking at Xia Ping's appearance, they couldn't help but reveal expressions of extreme fear. This was the first time they had seen such a terrifying human demigod. This was simply unstoppable power and battle prowess. If they were to fight against this human demigod, they would probably be killed in an instant. Even demigods were like ants to him and could be easily killed. Unbelievable, truly unbelievable. Is this the ultimate weapon of the human race? It's actually so terrifying. How did such a terrifying demigod appear in the human race? Why haven't I heard of him before? This is way too scary. The foundation of the human race is way too scary. How long has it been since they started developing? To think that there would be someone who could grow to this extent. Killing demigods is as easy as killing chickens. Why have we never seen this human demigod before? Could it be that he's a demigod that the human race has secretly nurtured? The sages of all the races in the universe were shocked. They had never seen such a terrifying human demigod before. They saw those abyss demigods being killed like chickens. At this moment, their hair stood on end as they felt the same way. If they were in his shoes, they would probably be easily killed without any resistance. I remember now. I think I've seen this kid somewhere before. He's Xia Ping, the human Xia Ping. A beast sage roared as he recalled Xia Ping's identity. Xia Ping? That most demonic genius of the human race? Hearing this, many sages recalled Xia Ping's identity. As the most demonic genius of the human race, he had long entered the eyes of many sages and was seen as a threat to the other races. Some sages even wanted to find a chance to kill this human demigod to prevent the human race from giving birth to the 10th invincible sage. But now they were extremely shocked. This mysterious human demigod was actually Xia Ping. Impossible. Didn't Xia Ping just become an undying sage not long ago? How did he suddenly become a demigod? What kind of joke is this? A sage was in disbelief. He clearly remembered that Xia Ping had only become an undying sage not long ago, less than 100 years. To think that he had become a demigod in such a short time. This was not a joke. I'm not joking. This guy is indeed a human demigod, but his cultivation speed is way too fast. No. The time aura on his body is chaotic. It seems like he has been through the passage of time. I'm sure that he didn't just cultivate for 100 years. He might have gone to some places where time flowed quickly and lived for billions of years. Even so, to become a demigod in billions of years is unbelievably fast. Normal sages can only reach near ancient sage from undying. I can only say that this human Xia Ping might have received the inheritance of the gods and had many miraculous encounters. That's why he could improve so quickly. Many sages discussed and were shocked. If Xia Ping was still weak, such a fast cultivation speed would definitely attract the attention of countless sages. They might even ambush him and find out the secret of Xia Ping's rapid growth. All sorts of schemes and plots would come. But now that Xia Ping's strength was terrifying, he could kill a group of demigods with one punch. Whoever dared to find out the secret of his fast cultivation speed would be seeking death. This was the threat of strength. As long as one was strong enough, no matter how heaven-defying one was, no one would dare to have any evil thoughts. Otherwise, they would be killed with one punch. And Xia Ping had already grown to such a level that he was not afraid of the other sages. So what if he was completely exposed? He was not afraid of anything. At this moment, the human sages were in an uproar. Xia Ping. This mysterious human demigod is Xia Ping. He's too strong. Just how strong is Xia Ping to be able to kill 49 glorious sun demons so easily? This kind of strength has probably surpassed the patriarchs of the 9 human races. I've never seen such a powerful demigod. He's too powerful. How did Dark North Sage raise such a monster disciple? This is unbelievable. Many of the human sages were excited. With such a demigod guarding the human race, the position of the human race would not be shaken. They would definitely stand at the peak of the universe and no one would be able to do anything to them. Dark North Sage's mouth twitched. Faced with the questions from the other sages, he was speechless. Who knew how his disciple could cultivate so quickly and surpass his master in the blink of an eye? Chapter 29:35. The many divine beast elders hidden in the void were also silent, and their expressions were extremely grave. Very strong. This human demigod is very simple. Even in the previous universe epic, the era of gods, this human demigod could stand at the peak. The Phoenix clan elder said in a low voice, "If I'm not wrong, he has comprehended at least 100 great Tao laws. Otherwise, his strength wouldn't be so terrifying." The Black Tortoise clan elder said, "It can't be. 100 great Tao laws? Doesn't that mean he could become a superior god as soon as he ascends? That's a god just below the ruler level." The Qilin clan elder couldn't believe it. That's not strange. Every universe epic will give birth to a superior god or even a ruler-level god. This human demigod has such potential. The Phoenix clan elder said. In other words, this kid can not only become a superior god but also a ruler-level god? The Qilin clan elder sucked in a breath of cold air. He knew how terrifying a ruler-level god was. The god of their race was a ruler and had unparalleled divine power. However, a race could only give birth to one ruler. The others were at most superior gods. But that's just the potential. He might not succeed. After all, a demigod with potential can also fall. It depends on whether he can survive the demon lord's attack. The Phoenix clan elder said. The other divine beast elders' faces were solemn. They didn't know what to say. At this moment, they truly valued this human demigod. After all, once he ascended to the ruler level, he would be on equal footing with the divine beast clan. No, it wasn't as simple as being on equal footing. Because they were creatures from the previous universe epic, they would be suppressed by the universe's origin source. Their strength might even be weaker. Samuel didn't say anything. He continued to watch the battle quietly. Kill. At this moment, the many abyssal demons emitted a terrifying murderous aura. They gave up on chasing the other sages and chased after Xia Ping. They had to kill this human demigod to avenge the deaths of the other demigods and demons. Many demigods and demons attacked, forming a terrifying torrent of laws. It was as if many abyssal demon stars were falling, shattering the universe's vacuum. Burn. Xia Ping looked indifferently at the group of abyssal demons that were charging towards him. In an instant, he activated the boundless golden crow hell flames on his body. The extremely dense golden crow hell flames erupted. Immediately, he was like an eternally burning sun, incinerating everything in its path. Crash! In an instant, the bodies of these attacking abyssal demons were instantly ignited. The terrifying infernal golden crow flames spread out, and wherever they passed, they simply melted everything. Any substance, any fiendish demon, was turned into nothingness by this mighty flame. All the abyssal devil chi was completely purified by the power of this flame. Ah! The abyssal demons, even those that had reached the demigod realm, could not resist the burning of the golden crow inferno. Their bodies were ignited from the inside out. In just a breath of time, these abyss demons seemed to have turned into torches. They let out miserable screams as though they were being roasted. In an instant, more than half of the abyssal demons were burned to ashes. Go to hell, humans! Dozens of demigod demons roared. They endured the pain of being burned by the flames and attacked in a frenzy. Even if they had to pay the price of their lives, they had to kill this human demigod. Xia Ping did not even look at them. He punched out in the void. It was a straightforward punch without any fancy moves. It was as though the entire universe was moving with this punch. Suddenly, the bodies of dozens of demigod demons exploded and turned into dust. They could not even get close to Xia Ping. It was as though they were blown away by the chaotic astral wind and turned into ashes in an instant. Impossible. This is impossible. What kind of terrifying existence is this guy? Why can't we even take a punch from him? What kind of joke is this? The demigod demons let out miserable screams. They were in extreme despair. They felt as though they were being crushed to death like chickens. They had no strength to fight back at all. However, no matter how unwilling they were, there was nothing they could do. They were directly killed by Xia Ping with one punch. They were completely crushed. Too strong. The saints of all races had goosebumps. This was the first time they had seen such a terrifying demigod. The demons from the abyss were killed as though they were chickens. One demigod after another was easily crushed. This sent chills down their spines. If this human demigod were to turn around and attack them, they would probably all die under this human demigod's fist. However, this was just the beginning. Xia Ping took a step forward and punched out 5 times in the void towards the army of demons from the abyss. Space-time rotated and the great path laws shook. At this moment, the sky shook and the earth trembled. The stars shone brightly. Dong, dong, dong. The power of these 5 punches solidified and shot out from 5 different directions. It was like the punch of a god. It encompassed all directions and contained the power of laws, shaking space-time. Ah! Suddenly, hundreds of demigod demons were unable to fight back. They did not even know what was happening. They were hit by Xia Ping's punch just like that. Rumble, in the next second, the bodies of these demigods and demons were instantly smashed. Their souls were blown away by this terrifying wind, and all their spirits were destroyed at this moment. Not even a speck was left. Monster. This human demigod is a monster. Quick, retreat. We are no match for this monster. Run, hurry up and run. Many of the demons from the abyss broke down. They were scared out of their wits by Xia Ping's ferocious combat power. They ran, wishing their parents had given them 2 more legs. All of them ran with all their might. Human, you are courting death. At this moment, the demon lord finally made his move. He could not hold it in any longer. To be honest, he did not expect this human demigod to be so terrifying. He wanted to see how strong this human demigod was. However, his subordinates were all killed in a few breaths. If this continued, all the demigod demons might be killed by this kid. When that happened, he would be left alone. Therefore, he could not tolerate this. He stepped forward and emitted a monstrous demonic aura. He has made his move. The demon lord has finally made his move. This human demigod is dead. The demon lord has made his move. This human is dead for sure. Many of the demons from the abyss were overjoyed. They were scared by this human. However, with the demon lord making his move, this kid was dead for sure. There was no way he could survive. Chapter 29:36. Die. The demon lord attacked. A black spear had appeared in his hand. It was a treasure from the deep abyss, the god-slaying spear. It contained terrifying power and was comparable to a god artifact. He didn't use this god artifact when he attacked before, but now that he was fighting Xia Ping, he had no choice but to use it, because he could feel that this human demigod's power was terrifying. It was definitely extraordinary. If he didn't use his full strength, he would probably be killed. Boom! In an instant, the demon lord attacked with his spear, forming an extremely terrifying void vortex. It contained a god-slaying black light that seemed to be able to tear apart the dark true void. Wherever the black spear went, all the laws of heaven and earth were turned to dust. All the demigods could feel how terrifying the demon lord's attack was. This attack could definitely kill a demigod. It seemed to contain endless god might. So strong. Many of the beast elders were shocked. They could feel how terrifying the demon lord's attack was. It had already reached the level of a lower god, which was beyond the imagination of a demigod. Even if they were in the same position, they wouldn't be a match for the demon lord. They would probably be killed by the demon lord in an instant. Retreat! Retreat! The saints of the various races all had goosebumps. They were scared out of their wits. Even though they weren't facing the demon lord directly, just the aftermath of the attack was enough to kill them. They kept retreating to avoid the demon lord's power. At this moment, Xia Ping also attacked. Even though the demon lord had taken out the god-slaying spear, he didn't move. He still punched out, no different from before. But the power of this punch was beyond the imagination of all the demigods. At the same time, it was also Xia Ping's strongest attack. The power of his 9 clones merged together, and a terrifying power exploded at this moment. It was earth-shattering. It was like a punch from a real god. Whoosh! When Xia Ping punched out, the color of the universe changed. The terrifying fist will permeated endless space and dimensions, creating a chaos vortex. The chaos vortex collapsed, forming a black hole. All light, matter, and souls were swallowed by the black hole. No power could escape from the black hole. This was the purest destructive power. The punch broke through the void. Impossible! The demon lord could not believe it. He took the punch head-on, and the god-slaying power that was charging at him was instantly turned into dust, turning into nothingness. That vast, boundless power came crashing down and instantly sent his body flying. The arm that held the god-slaying spear turned into a bloody mist at that moment. No, it wasn't just this arm. Its entire body couldn't withstand such a terrifying force. Its entire body seemed to have been swept by a chaotic gale and instantly turned into a cloud of blood mist. Damn it, I'm the sovereign of the abyss, the lord of all fiends, the future sovereign god. How could I be defeated by a single punch? How could he die here? This is impossible. The demon lord was on the verge of breaking down. He had never thought that such a thing would happen. He was supposed to be unrivaled, an invincible existence that could suppress all enemies in the world. But now, with just a single punch, he was completely defeated. Even his body was reduced to ashes, leaving only his soul behind. Damn it, you can't kill me. I'm the demon lord, an immortal and indestructible demon. It's impossible to be killed. With a boom, after the demon lord's body exploded into pieces, his soul instantly fled, attempting to open a space-time tunnel and teleport back to the abyssal demonic tree. Whoosh! A terrifying spiritual wave erupted from its soul and swept in all directions, causing dense ripples in the void to appear. All the sages' souls were shaken, and their minds were blank for a second. At the same time, the abyssal demonic tree in the distance seemed to move. Countless roots extended over, attempting to absorb the demon lord's soul completely back into its body. But it was of no use. Xia Ping's fist technique was terrifying beyond compare. His fist broke through the void, shattered the laws of the universe, seized the creation of heaven and earth, and contained the supreme concept of life, death, reincarnation, and destruction, suppressing all demon gods. Although it was just a simple punch, it was stacked with the power of the 9 great clones, producing a terrifying destructive power. It caused the void of billions of light years to shake, producing extremely terrifying destructive ripples that shook like waves. In an instant, the aftershock of the punch blasted on the demon lord's soul. In the next second, the demon lord's soul turned into ashes, completely turning into nothingness, and disappeared from this universe just like that. Demon Lord! Seeing this scene, many of the abyssal demons were dumbfounded. They could not help but scream, not daring to believe their eyes. This was the Lord of the Abyss, the leader of all the demons. He had the combat power of a god, unparalleled bravery, and no one could defeat him. But now, he was killed by a human demigod with one punch, dying tragically in front of everyone. If this was a joke, then this joke was completely over the top. No demon could accept such a ridiculous thing. What kind of joke is this? This is too much. He killed the demon lord with one punch. What the hell happened? The sages of the various races were also dumbfounded. To be honest, they knew the demon lord's strength best. He had surpassed the demigod realm and reached the god realm. Every move of his contained terrifying combat power, shattering the vacuum. Just now, they had used all their strength and even used divine weapons, but they could not do anything to the demon lord. Instead, they were destroyed by the demon lord with just a few punches. There were countless casualties, and the losses were extremely heavy. The demon lord's ferocious power was evident. But, to think that they would witness that demigod of the human race striking out personally. To think that he would be able to kill the demonic lord with a single punch as though he was squashing an ant. Although they were not abyssal demons, They were completely dumbfounded. No words could describe what they were feeling at this moment. They looked as if they had seen a ghost. Dark North, when did your disciple become so ferocious? He killed the demon lord with one punch? The Xiaoyao ancestral patriarch and the others didn't know what to say. They knew Xiaoping's strength was so strong that it made people's hair stand on end, but he couldn't be this strong. It was too much and beyond their imagination. Well, I'm not sure either. Dark North Saint was speechless. He was the one who wanted to ask why the most. When did his disciple's strength increase to this level? There were no signs at all. No matter how hard he tried, he could not imagine that Xiaoping could kill the demon lord with one punch. There was no need for a second punch at all. This kind of strength was beyond the imagination of a demigod. Endless waves rose in the depths of his heart. Chapter 29:37. In the distance, in the void. Impossible! After seeing Xiaoping kill the demon lord with one punch, the Phoenix clan elder jumped in fright. What did that human demigod do just now? How could the demon lord be so vulnerable and be killed with one punch? To be honest, as a divine beast elder, he had lived for countless years, but he had never seen such a thing. A demigod's strength was actually so strong. Trash. That demon lord is definitely trash. He was killed with a single punch. Just what in the world is that? Just what in the world is that? The Qilin race elder shouted out loudly. He couldn't accept this fact at all. Before, he was still bragging about the demon lord's strength, which was comparable to the strength of a lower god. He was unparalleled and invincible in the universe, and no enemy could resist the demonic might of the demon lord. But now, he was actually killed with one punch by this human demigod. The situation changed so quickly that it was beyond his imagination. I didn't expect that human demigod Xiaoping to be so strong. It's really incredible. Is this the child of destiny born in this universe era? It's really terrifying. The Black Tortoise clan elder couldn't help but sigh. Samuel, is this your confidence in the human race? No wonder you thought that the saints of the various races might not lose. If there is such a monster who can kill the demon lord with one punch, it is indeed impossible for them to lose. The Pishio clan elder admired the Dragon God Shrine Palace master. He was indeed the #1 expert of the Dragon clan. He had lived from the last universe era until now. He was really powerful. No, I didn't know this human was so powerful. Samuel was speechless. To be honest, he was the most shocked by this matter. He didn't expect this human demigod Xiaoping to be able to kill the demon lord with one punch. It was too exaggerated. If that's the case, why are you so confident in the human race? The divine beast elder next to him asked curiously. That's because the human race has a strong foundation. Maybe you all know about the universe virtual network. Samuel said in a deep voice. Of course. All the divine beast elders nodded. This was the human race's biggest secret and their biggest reliance. It was a super device that could connect the entire universe without any delay. It was far beyond the imagination of the other peak races. Even the machinery race, which was known as the most technologically advanced race, was unable to do this. However, the seemingly weak humans had managed to do it. Do you know why humans can do this? Samuel said. Why? Many divine beast elders were extremely curious. They had secretly inquired about similar information before, but they didn't find anything because this was the ultimate secret of the human race, and no one could investigate it. It's very simple. It's because humans obtained a super divine artifact, the Heavenly Emperor's Jade Seal. Samuel's eyes glowed. This is an extremely powerful artifact. It is said to be a magic treasure from an immortal universe that perished countless years ago. Immortal universe! Many of the divine beast elders widened their eyes. This was the first time they had heard of such a secret. Yes, it's the immortal universe. It is said that this universe has given birth to countless immortals. Every immortal is as powerful as a god. Each of them possesses unimaginably powerful magic treasures. It is even said that this universe has lived for 9 lifetimes. Its prestige has shocked countless eras and the infinite universe. Samuel revealed an earth-shattering secret, a universe that has lived for 9 lifetimes. Many divine beast elders were shocked. One had to know that the universe they were in couldn't even live for 1 lifetime. They could only fall into reincarnation. One universe after another, the cycle of reincarnation, and many gods fell. However, there was actually another universe that could live for 9 lifetimes. How terrifying was this place? Unfortunately, the immortal cosmos seems to be at war with another cosmos of the same level, the infernal cosmos, which has also lived 9 lives. Samuel said, in the end, an earth-shattering war broke out between the 2 super-universes. Many god sovereigns took action, causing heaven and earth to split and many universes to shatter. In the end, they actually perished together. The origins of both universes couldn't withstand this earth-shattering war of gods. As a result, their respective universes collapsed, and all the gods fell along with them. Why did these 2 universes war? Some divine beast elders asked curiously. I'm not sure. It is said that it was for a mysterious treasure. As for what it is exactly, no one knows. Samuel said, however, this isn't the main point. The main point is that the Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal is a super godly weapon owned by the Supreme Heavenly Emperor who ruled the immortal universe. Back then, the immortal universe shattered, and countless treasures were lost in the void, floating in different universes. The Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal accidentally entered our universe, and now it is actually obtained by the human race. What ability does the Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal have? Many divine beast elders were very curious. I'm still not sure. The universe virtual network is just a function that humans have explored. Humans haven't displayed more of their power. They have completely hidden it. Samuel's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. I originally thought that the Demon Master's invasion of the modern universe would force the human clan to take out their final trump card and use the ultimate artifact, the Celestial Emperor Jade Seal, but I didn't expect that it still couldn't force the human clan to use their full strength. He was very regretful. However, the more it was like this, the more it proved how terrifying the human race's foundation was. They didn't even need to use their ultimate godly weapon. Just a demigod alone was able to kill the demon lord, displaying invincible combat power. Even he was trembling with fear. I see. Many divine beast elders were enlightened. They finally understood why Samuel was so confident in the human race. It turned out that the human race still had a trump card that they hadn't used. After all, it was the legendary ultimate godly weapon, surpassing all treasures. Who could imagine what kind of power it had? Just the appearance of the universe virtual network was enough to prove how terrifying the Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal was. If they really used the Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal as their final trump card, they might be able to easily exterminate the Abyss demons. I didn't expect the human race to be so terrifying. Their foundation is too shocking. They're just creatures born in this universe era, but they're actually more powerful than us divine beast clans. I can only say that the human race is extremely lucky in this universe era. They're unparalleled. I'm afraid even Gaia can't compare to the human race. After this war, the human race will probably be the strongest race in the universe. All the other races combined won't be a match for the human race. Isn't that so? Just that human demigod alone can easily kill a group of demigods. He's invincible. Many divine beast elders exclaimed in admiration. Their vigilance towards the human race had risen to the extreme. Once the gods awaken in the future, the human race would definitely be their #1 enemy. Chapter 2938. Rumble. At that moment, after the demon lord was killed, the abyssal demonic tree seemed to go berserk. A terrifying abyssal will was born from its body and spread in all directions. Almost half of the universe was enveloped by the will of the abyssal demonic tree. Terrifying mental fluctuations swept in all directions. Almost all the saints could feel this terrifying abyssal will. It seemed to be the representative of the abyssal laws. It could corrode everything. It was many times more terrifying than the demon lord. Oh no, the abyssal demonic tree seems to be reviving. The saints' expressions were extremely unsightly. Damn, I almost forgot that the demon lord is just a puppet. The abyssal demonic tree's main body is the true abyssal lord. It's also our greatest opponent this time. Heavens, just how powerful is this abyssal demonic tree? Just the will it emits unconsciously can actually corrode our souls. We can't fight it at all. This is a life form that exceeds the norm. The expressions of the saints changed. They looked at the abyssal demonic tree in the distance and their hair stood on end. Whoosh, at that moment, the abyssal demonic tree seemed to have awakened. An abyssal demonic eye appeared on its body. That eye seemed to be able to devour, distort, and corrode everything. An uncontrollable abyssal power burst out of its body. In an instant, the abyssal aura within 1 billion light-years expanded by dozens of times. It seemed to have turned into a boundless demonic domain. "Ant, you deserve to die." The abyssal demonic tree woke up and that abyssal demonic eye stared at Xia Ping. It contained a terrifying murderous aura as if it had locked onto Xia Ping's aura, making it impossible for him to escape. In an instant it moved. Countless roots danced, and it seemed as if the entire universe was trembling. Endless abyssal source power poured in. It was as if it was the amalgamation of abyssal power, a monster born from the abyssal laws that could destroy everything. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, countless dark roots rushed over, covering 1 billion light-years. They surrounded Xia Ping and tried to strangle him in this domain of darkness. Boom, but at that moment, the abyssal demonic tree's movements came to an abrupt halt. All the dark roots stopped moving as if time and space had stopped. Xia Ping quietly stood in place and looked at the abyssal demonic tree. What's going on? What happened? All the sages were dumbfounded and confused. They did not know what had happened and why the demon tree of the abyss could not move at all. "Ant, what did you do to me?" The abyssal demonic tree roared, and its whole body trembled as if it was in great pain. The endless abyssal aura rolled like the sea. All the sages could see that the abyssal demon tree was in great trouble. "Let's begin." Xia Ping was not interested in chatting with the abyssal demonic tree at all. He communicated with the world tree in the depths of his consciousness because the time was ripe. He could completely devour the abyssal demonic tree's power and make it his own. In an instant, the void split open, and the figure of the world tree suddenly appeared in the universe. What? Many sages widened their eyes. They suddenly saw a tree that was comparable to the abyssal demon tree appear in the void. Such a tree was incomparably vast. From afar, it looked like a universe. Its countless roots were rooted in the void of the universe, and each root was like the chi of heaven and earth. It was also like a void wormhole that connected the universe. The moment it appeared, it seemed to control the entire universe. Countless roots had unknowingly spread to every corner of the universe. At the same time, its body was covered with endless emerald green leaves, and each leaf contained majestic world power. It was as if the depths of each leaf contained a boundless universe. It could be said that this tree was simply an amalgamation of the infinite boundless universe. In front of this tree, be it sages or gods, they all felt incomparably small. It was as if they would be completely suppressed by this majestic world power in an instant. Moreover, rays of bright emerald green light emitted from its body, as if it was condensed from the laws of heaven and earth. It covered an area of billions of light-years, forming a world domain. At this moment, all living beings were dumbfounded. They seemed to have seen an incredibly great life, a miracle born from chaos. If the abyssal demon tree was the symbol of the will of the abyss, containing the negative forces of death, abyss, corrosion, curse, darkness, and so on, devouring all life. And the world tree was the symbol of the modern universe. It contained positive energy such as light, blessing, life, heaven, and so on. It seemed to be the amalgamation of all good things. But this was only on the surface. In fact, deep inside it was a demonic tree that was even more terrifying than the abyssal demon tree. It devoured everything, devoured all matter, and took it as its own. It used the universe as its soil and the corpses of all things as its food. This was a divine tree that was a fusion of light and darkness. It was a powerful species born from chaos. Before the other sages could understand the world tree, at this moment, the endless roots of the world tree instantly pierced into the body of the abyssal demon tree, easily piercing through its body. Ah! The abyssal demon tree immediately let out a shrill scream. Intense pain spread throughout its body as it tried to resist. Boom! But at this moment, the world tree's backup plan was activated. The parasitic seed left in the abyssal demon tree was activated and instantly controlled the abyssal demon tree. At this moment, the body of the abyssal demon tree could not move at all. It was as if its body was completely controlled. It could only watch as the world tree devoured its origin energy. Whoosh! In just a few breaths' time, the world tree immediately integrated into the body of the abyssal demon tree. It seemed to have completely devoured the power of the abyssal demon tree and integrated it into its own body. At the same time, the roots of the world tree also completely replaced the roots of the abyssal demon tree. The endless abyssal demon energy was completely devoured by the roots of the world tree. All of it flowed into the body of the world tree, and the power of the world tree rapidly increased at a speed visible to the naked eye. Bang, bang, bang! In the next second, the roots of the world tree trembled slightly. All the nearby abyssal demons were swept away by the branches and pulled back into the abyss. At the same time, the abyssal demon energy that surged out of the abyss passageway was devoured by the world tree and disappeared completely. After the abyssal demon energy that was about to be transformed into an abyss was completely devoured by the world tree. It was as if nothing had happened. Chapter 29:39. Xia Ping sensed that the world tree had completely replaced the abyssal demon tree and returned to the deepest part of the abyss. Its countless roots were rooted in every corner of the abyss. A towering tree appeared in the abyss, almost piercing through the abyss. It appeared in front of the many abyssal demons without hesitation. The branches on its body held up pieces of abyss continents, and its leaves turned into plain worlds. The light on its body was like the sun, spreading endless light and bestowing life to all things. Endless abyss demon energy was absorbed into its body, as if it had turned into soil. Pieces of abyss continents also gathered together. Under the effect of the world tree's power, it seemed to form a supercontinent that had never existed since ancient times. The soil also changed, turning into 9 heavens living soil that could continuously reproduce. The entire abyss world had undergone earth-shattering changes. It could be said that the world tree had become the true lord of the abyss, controlling endless energy. Its cultivation had also risen to the level of demigod perfection. It was only one step away from ascending to the god realm. Its power had also reached a level that had never been seen since ancient times. It was vast and unparalleled, like a supreme god. However, that was not all. Its roots had also penetrated half of the modern universe, and at the same time, the roots were still spreading, covering everything. As long as it was given a certain amount of time, not only could it cover the entire abyss, but it could also cover the entire modern universe. Basically, it could cover every corner of the entire universe. When that time came, the world tree would become one with the entire universe. Even becoming a sovereign god would be a piece of cake. Too powerful. Xia Ping could feel how powerful the world tree was. When the world tree merged with the entire universe, the world tree would become the universe, and the universe would become the world tree. At the same time, the nature of the entire universe would be greatly improved. Through his senses, the world tree's roots even extended beyond the universe, seeping into the void of chaos and madly swallowing chaotic air currents. It should be known that chaotic energy was endless. It was a supreme energy, and even saints could not devour it. Even a wisp of chaotic air currents was enough to make a saint explode. If the universe wanted to improve, it also needed to slowly swallow chaotic air currents to increase the universe's origin energy. However, this speed and efficiency were too slow. If they relied on the instinctive evolution of the universe, who knew how many epochs it would take? However, if it was under the control of the world tree, then the speed of the universe's advancement would be many times faster, and it could evolve to an extremely powerful realm in a short period of time. The creatures in the universe would also reap great benefits. It was like the revival of spirit chi, and countless experts would emerge. It could be said that the fusion of the world tree with the universe was a huge benefit to the universe. The fusion of the two was equivalent to complementing each other. It was a win-win cooperation. Wait a minute. This feeling? Could it be the will of the origin of the universe? Xia Ping's eyes gleamed. He sensed that at this moment, his soul seemed to have completely fused with the deepest part of the universe's origin. He seemed to have entered the river of destiny. At this moment, he had obtained the recognition of the entire origin will of the universe. Clearly, his actions were equivalent to saving the modern universe, preventing it from being eroded by the power of the abyss. This was the merit of saving the world, and there was immeasurable merit. At the same time, the world tree became the ruler of the abyss. With the two combined, he had obtained the recognition of the entire vast origin will of the universe. It was as if he had become the ruler of this universe at this moment, controlling all the laws of the universe. At this moment, Xia Ping felt that the energy of the entire universe's origin seemed to be mobilized by him at will. Every place in the universe seemed to have an extremely friendly emotion toward him. It was as if he was the son of destiny and had obtained the universe's favor. Countless planets, endless continents, and countless lost lives seemed to be expressing their gratitude to him at this moment. Waves of Tao rhythm came from all directions. He found that his soul had fused with the river of destiny. At this moment he seemed to have seen the fate of all living beings, the endless karma of all living beings, the river of destiny, and the endless great Tao laws in the deepest part of the universe's origin. Xia Ping found that with the blessing of the universe's origin, the speed at which he comprehended many great Tao laws was unbelievably fast. It was as if he had turned on a cheat at this moment. His comprehension ability had been improved geometrically. Even without using the power of the feathered serpent god, he could easily perceive many great Tao laws. This was the benefit of being the son of destiny. At this moment, Xia Ping's eyes widened. He found that the endless energy of the universe's origin was gushing into his body. It was simply vast and boundless. Even with the space of his sea of consciousness, it was impossible for him to contain it. Moreover, the vast amount of energy of the universe's origin surged over, almost bursting his body. His skin seemed to be cracking at this moment, and traces of blood appeared. Vaguely, the magic power in his body and the power of the great Tao laws seemed to be gathering together and condensing into crystals. It could be said that if he wanted to, at this moment, Xia Ping could directly condense a godhead and advance to the high god realm, becoming the modern universe's first god. No, I can't advance. However, Xia Ping still forcibly stopped this comprehension and suppressed the power of advancement. This was because his ambition was greater. He didn't want to advance to the high god realm, he wanted to advance directly to the sovereign realm. Advancing directly from a demigod to a sovereign realm god was something that had never happened since time immemorial. It was also an unimaginable miracle. Since ancient times, no demigod had been able to do this. However, according to the current amount of origin energy he had obtained, it was clearly not enough for him to advance to the sovereign realm. After all, the modern universe was still in its infancy. Whether it was the time or the foundation for growth, it was far from enough. If I want to advance to the sovereign realm, I'm afraid I'll have to unify the infernal universe and devour a huge amount of origin energy to succeed. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. To be honest, although the infernal universe had been destroyed in the previous universe era and had fallen into reincarnation, it was still a super universe that had lived through 9 lifetimes. Its foundation was boundless. Even if it had been destroyed and had fallen into reincarnation and lost a lot of energy, the origin energy it contained was not something other universes could compare to. As the saying goes, even a rotten ship has 3 nails. Once he unified the infernal universe and obtained the recognition of the infernal universe's origin will, the origin energy he would obtain would definitely far exceed the energy that the modern universe could obtain. In this way, when the two energies superimposed, he would definitely advance directly to the sovereign realm, a realm that had never been seen since time immemorial. Chapter 2940. Did we win? Did we win just like that? Seeing the abyssal demon tree disappear, all the abyssal demons were completely defeated. The sages were dumbfounded. They looked at each other, not knowing what to do. Everything had happened too quickly. They had been at a disadvantage. Even with a few divine weapons, they couldn't do anything to the demon master. They were beaten back again and again. All the sages were prepared to die together with the abyssal demons. But now, this human demigod Xia Ping had suddenly appeared. He was invincible. With a few punches and kicks, he had defeated many demigod demons. Even the demon master had been killed by this human demigod with one punch. This series of events was simply too shocking. If they hadn't checked again and again, they would have thought they had fallen into some kind of illusion. The aura of the abyssal demon tree has completely disappeared. The void passageways connected to the abyss are all closed. Looks like we've won, an invincible sage said. Under his perception, all the abyssal demons had retreated back into the abyss. The power eroding the modern universe had also disappeared. Basically, it could be said that they had already won this war. No way. This is too simple. This is child's play. A sage couldn't believe it. Although they had indeed been in danger just now, with countless casualties, the change from death to victory was too fast. They couldn't believe it. You can't say that. We can only say that the human demigod's power is so terrifying that it's not something we can imagine. If I'm not wrong, this human demigod's power has probably reached the realm of gods. That's why he could easily kill the demon master and the abyssal demon tree. Killing a god with the body of a demigod. What kind of monster is this? How is this possible? Nothing is impossible. The truth is in front of us. We have to admit it. Indeed. He killed an expert like the demon master with one punch. This power has already risen to an unbelievable level. It's not an exaggeration to say that he's comparable to a god. The sages discussed. To be honest, it had taken a long time for them to reluctantly accept this absurd fact. They didn't know what to say. Why was it that when everyone else was a demigod, this human demigod was this terrifying? They simply could not figure it out no matter how hard they thought about it. Now that the humans have such an invincible demigod, who else can keep them in check in the future? A demigod could not help but ask. Hearing these words, the sages of the surrounding top clans also fell silent. Balance? What a joke. Right now, they were no longer thinking about how to keep the human race in check. They were only thinking about how to survive under the power of the human race. After all, that human demigod could easily kill the demon lord and the abyssal demonic tree. In that case, he could also easily kill the demigods of the other peak clans. If that human demigod were to turn around and attack them instead, none of them would be able to escape. All of the sages had solemn looks on their faces. There was no hint of joy on their faces. After dealing with the abyss, they would have to deal with an even more powerful race, the human race. However, there was nothing they could do in this situation. Far away in the void, many divine beast elders were silent when they saw this scene. Especially when they saw the abyssal demonic tree being killed and all the abyssal demons retreating back into the abyss, they were even more silent because such an outcome had given them a huge shock. It seems like the strength of the human race and the foundation of the human race are beyond our imagination. The Phoenix Elder could not help but sigh. Previously, he had thought that the human race and the other races were doomed and would not be able to survive from the abyssal demons. However, in the blink of an eye, this group of abyssal demons were beaten to a pulp. Even the demon lord and the abyssal demonic tree had died tragically. The battle situation had been reversed in an instant. The situation had changed so quickly that they felt overwhelmed. Xia Ping of the human race will definitely be the greatest enemy of the divine beast race in the future. We must be extremely vigilant. The eyes of the Qilin elder lit up. He had already raised his vigilance against Xia Ping to the extreme. After this battle ends, the abyss will no longer be able to invade the modern universe. The modern universe has won this battle, and there is no way to stop its rise. The Black Tortoise Elder said in a low voice. Not only that, I sense that the universe seems to be undergoing earth-shattering changes. It is evolving at an accelerated pace. Before long, the first God will be born in this universe era, and then we will usher in the Age of Gods. The Pai Xiu elder could not help but clench his fists. He seemed to have seen the grand occasion of the previous universe era. That was a flourishing age of tens of thousands of races and gods. Powerful gods were born one after another, and their might dominated the ages. And the Age of Gods would also be born from this. The human race is really too dangerous. We must think of a way to deal with him. We cannot let him be the only one. The Bai Feng elders said in a low voice. Many divine beast elders also had a huge vigilance against the human race. They believed that in the future war of gods, the human race would definitely occupy an extremely important position. That's easy for you to say. How can we deal with him? He can even kill a top expert like the Demon Lord with one punch. I reckon that even if we fight together, we won't be a match for this brat. Could it be that we use our heads to deal with him? The Bai Feng elder sneered. He felt that these fellows were unrealistic. It was easy for them to say such things. Chapter 2941. At this moment, in the angel race's headquarters, many angels were aware of the situation of the battle through various means. Especially when they saw Xia Ping kill the Demon Lord with a single punch. All the angels were speechless and extremely silent. I didn't expect the human sage who was chased by us to grow so quickly. He actually ascended to the perfection stage of the demigod realm. He's just one step away from stepping into the god realm. Actually, this is something we should have expected. This human has obtained the God of War's inheritance. The speed of his improvement is definitely beyond everyone's imagination. It's not surprising that he has reached such a realm. But the problem is, what should the Lord's plan be? We should have been able to completely eradicate the human race with the help of the demons from the abyss. I didn't expect such a human demigod to suddenly appear. According to the Lord's orders, we must obtain the celestial the Archjade seal that the human race has obtained. But according to the current situation, we have no way of doing it. We are no match for that human at all. Do we have no choice but to temporarily give up on this plan? Many angels discussed. Although they were also shocked by the strength that Xia Ping had displayed, it had not reached the level of fear. Instead, they were still full of confidence. Rumble, at this moment, a beam of holy light seemed to pierce through the universe and reach this spacetime. Suddenly, a terrifying angel formed from holy light appeared in the void, emitting unparalleled divine might. This angel of light was expressionless. According to the Lord's orders, the Lord is about to arrive in this universe. All of you, prepare to welcome him. Open up a space-time tunnel that connects to the radiant universe. This universe will soon become the Lord's. What? As soon as this was said, many angels were shocked. This was simply unbelievable. Could it be that the Lord's war has ended? Is he finally going to attack this universe? A demigod angel was extremely excited. In fact, they were not native creatures of this universe. Instead, they were creatures from the radiant universe. The reason they had arrived in this universe was to collect information about the entire universe and prepare for the radiant universe's rule over this universe. The ruler of the radiant universe was the Lord of countless angels. He was known as the Lord of Radiance. He was the strongest dominator-level god and was known as the King of Gods. However, the radiant universe was previously attacking another universe and did not have the time to deal with this ordinary universe. Therefore, these angels were very low-key and only collected all kinds of information in this universe to prepare for the future war. After waiting for such a long time, they finally received this order. That's right. The Lord's radiance has already conquered the Empyrean universe. All the gods have been killed and refined into the radiant universe. Now, our radiant universe can live out its sixth life. The angel of light was extremely proud. Many of the angels were extremely excited because the radiant universe had already survived 5 universe reincarnations. This was an extremely rare morale among the countless universes, and their strength was extremely powerful. One had to know that there was a huge difference between sovereign gods. An ordinary sovereign god could at most possess the power of one universe samsara. This was already the limit of a sovereign god. Only by allowing the universe to undergo reincarnation after reincarnation and absorbing the power of reincarnation from the collapse of the universe could the hegemon grow infinitely powerful. Now, the ruler of the light universe, the god of light, had obtained all sorts of miraculous encounters and possessed the power of 10 universes. This power was simply unprecedented and unprecedented throughout the ages. Any sovereign god would have to submit in the face of this invincible power and be obliterated under the boundless radiance. With just one step, the god of light could step into the supreme realm of the creation god. This time, the Lord also places great importance on this war. He will personally lead the ultimate artifact, the investiture of the gods, to suppress the origin of this universe. His army will arrive and kill all enemies. The angel of light said in a low voice, "What? The ultimate artifact, the investiture of the gods." When the angels heard this, they could not believe it. They knew that the reason why the Lord had risen so quickly was because he had obtained this ultimate artifact, the investiture of the gods. Once this artifact had the true spirit of a god on the list, then from then on, its life and death could only be controlled by the god of light. Life and death could only be decided by the god of light. Moreover, because the true spirit of a god was controlled by the investiture of the gods, even if a god was killed by another god, he would be resurrected in the investiture of the gods and would never die. The result was obvious. Because of the power of the investiture of the gods, an army of immortal gods appeared in the light universe. No matter how many times they were killed, the gods on the list would be resurrected. With this kind of power, the light universe destroyed many universes and lived one life after another. It was said that this ultimate artifact was obtained by the god of light by accident. It was the life artifact of the celestial emperor, the ruler of a super-universe who had lived 9 lives. When the immortal universe collapsed, countless artifacts were scattered in the chaos and entered various universes. Among them, the investiture of the gods entered the light universe and was obtained by the god of light. The Lord actually mobilized so many people, but this universe has not even produced a god yet. Is it worth the Lord's attention? A demigod angel felt that this was unbelievable. One had to know that the angel race had entered a few similar universes. This was just one of the ordinary universes, and they did not know that the Lord had mobilized so many people. What do you know? What the Lord cares about is not the origin of this universe, but the ultimate artifact left in this universe, the celestial emperor's jade seal. That is the artifact of the ruler of the immortal universe, the celestial emperor, who had lived 9 lives. You can imagine its power. It is definitely extraordinary. The angel of light's eyes flashed. The Lord obtained the celestial emperor's treasure, the investiture of the gods, which allowed him to reach this stage. He will definitely not allow a second force in the entire chaos to have such a fortuitous encounter. Therefore, the celestial emperor's jade seal must be obtained. Even if he has to use all his strength and destroy this universe, he must snatch the celestial emperor's jade seal back. He will not allow it to fall into the hands of others. Its body was filled with a dense killing intent. We understand. The angels could not help but nod. However, we are foreign creatures. If we enter this universe, we will be suppressed by the origin of this universe and will not be able to exert the power we should have. An angel could not help but ask, "It's fine. You do not know how terrifying the investiture of the gods is. Not only can it confer titles to gods, but it can also suppress the origin laws of the universe, causing them to temporarily lose their effectiveness." The angel of light laughed coldly. According to the origin energy of this universe, under the full suppression of the investiture of the gods, there will be 3 days of its power losing its effectiveness. Within these 3 days, we can slaughter all life in this universe dozens of times. Of course, if it is a universe of the same level as our light universe, the investiture of the gods will not be able to suppress it. But this is just an ordinary universe, so suppressing it is too easy. I see. The angels were enlightened. Chapter 2942. 1 month later, the human race held a grand celebration banquet that lasted for many days. It was a celebration for the entire race. Not only did they win against the abyss demons, but they also gave birth to an almost invincible human race demigod. This greatly increased the strength of the human race and shocked all the races in the universe. Xia Ping also naturally became one of the human race patriarchs and was promoted to the highest leader of the human race. He also learned many ultimate secrets about the human race. On this day, Xia Ping sat cross-legged in the mountain and sea scripture world and was cultivating. Based on his current cultivation, he was improving all the time. His mind could be immersed in the source of the universe at any time and comprehend many great Tao laws. He felt that the number of great Tao laws he comprehended was increasing at every moment. His strength was also increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even he did not know how powerful he was now. Master! At this moment, the green ox's voice was heard. The infernal world is in trouble. What trouble? Xia Ping opened his eyes and asked. I'm not sure what happened. I only know that the source energy of the infernal world seems to be increasing at an extremely fast speed. In a short period of time, it has become many times denser. Thanks to this, many demons have advanced. This is very unusual, the green ox said in a low voice. There's such a thing? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. One must know that the evolution of the universe was slow and rapid. It could not be intense and rapid. The reason for this to happen must be that something big had happened in the infernal world. He immediately thought of the evil god universe because the infernal world and the evil god universe were connected. If something really happened, it might be a conspiracy of the evil god universe. However, he had to personally see what had happened. Otherwise, he would not be able to come to a conclusion. Half a day later, Xia Ping arrived in the infernal world again. As soon as he entered the infernal world, Xia Ping immediately sensed that the source of the infernal world had increased more than 10 times compared to when he had left. This was unusual. No matter how special the infernal world was, it was impossible to increase the source of hell by 10 times in a short period of time. This was unbelievable and went against the laws of nature. He was 100% sure that this was the doing of the evil god universe. Thanks to the increase in the hell's essence, the power of every hell plane received a huge boost. All the demons benefited tremendously, and their strength increased at a visible rate. He could sense that the size of the entire hell realm had expanded by who knew how many times. Many folded spaces had appeared, and countless hell planes had been added. Even the hell realm ruins hidden in the depths of alternate space-time began to surface. It was as if the world of hell had experienced a revival of spirit chi, restoring the glory of the previous universal era. Wait a minute. At this rate, we might be able to give birth to a demon god. Xia Ping squinted his eyes. He could imagine the evil god's plot. With the increase of the infernal realm's essence energy, the restrictions on other cosmic life forms would gradually decrease. The suppression wouldn't be as fierce. Perhaps a demigod or even a medium god would be able to enter the infernal realm. That way, the evil god universe with large numbers of evil gods would be able to take the chance to swarm over. They would arrive at Hell World and start a war against Hell World to slaughter the devils. Those evil gods could even use this chance to kill him. Without a doubt, this must be the evil god's plot. They wanted to increase the universe's essence energy and speed up the evolution of Hell World to achieve their goal of invading the Hell Planes. So that's how it is. Is this already a case of a cornered beast doing something desperate? Xia Ping clenched his fists. To be honest, he also understood why these evil gods were getting crazier and more impatient. Although he had only been in seclusion for 3 years in the main universe, it had actually been about 110,000 years in the evil god universe. This was an extremely long time for humans. With such a long time and the lack of natural enemies, the number of humans in the evil god universe increased at a geometric rate. The number had expanded by more than 1 trillion times. Therefore, the number of furnace wizards had also expanded by 1 trillion times. These furnace wizards were extremely arrogant and ran amok in the evil god universe. They were everywhere in the universe, giving birth to countless furnace wizards who were above the immortal level. Many evil creatures were used as fuel, becoming the source of cultivation for the furnace wizards. The power of each furnace wizard was even more terrifying. They were like small suns. If this was 100,000 years ago, killing a world furnace wizard could burn a lower god to death, then now, it could even burn a ruler to death. One could say that this made the evil gods even more helpless and fearful. This was already too much for them to handle. These evil gods didn't expect these furnace wizards to develop to such a stage. The speed at which they spread was like a plague and couldn't be stopped at all. The evil creatures that lived in many worlds were in a tragic state. They were like street rats and didn't dare to appear easily, otherwise, they would be caught and burned to death. Humans didn't fear the evil gods anymore. This made the evil gods even more savage and furious. They really wanted to catch Xia Ping and kill him. Therefore, they paid a huge price to speed up the evolution of the Hell Plane. Even if they had to pay any price, they had to kill this source of trouble. With the full support of the evil gods, the entire Hell Plane was also speeding up its evolution. The origin energy was increasing at a visible rate and the energy was getting thicker and thicker. But this is a good thing. Xia Ping touched his chin and his eyes lit up. To be honest, he was a little worried that he didn't have enough energy before, but the origin energy of the Hell Plane had actually evolved to this level. If he obtained the recognition of the Hell Plane's will, he would definitely obtain a huge amount of origin energy. That way, with the origin energy of the real universe, he would definitely be able to reach the ruler level. It's time to unify the entire Hell Plane. Xia Ping's heart was filled with ambition. Once he unified the entire Hell Plane, he would become the ruler of Hell and obtain the recognition of the Hell Plane's will. Moreover, before the evil gods of the evil god universe came in, he would unify the Hell Plane and become a ruler. At that time, those evil gods wouldn't be a threat and he would kill as many as they came. Thinking of this, he didn't hesitate and immediately summoned his demon subordinates. Chapter 2943. In the Green Lotus Hell, countless demons gathered in front of an empty space. Xia Ping looked down at the many demons on the ground. After several years of development, the number of demons in the Green Lotus Hell had increased. It wasn't just a few times, but thousands, or even tens of thousands of times. This snowballing method of subduing demons was too terrifying. 1 became 2 times, 2 became 4 times, and 4 became 8 times. It didn't take long for the Green Lotus Hell's forces to spread all over the Hell world. Basically, 1/3 of the Hell world had been unified by Xia Ping's demons. Right now, the number of demigod demons had reached 300,000. As for the primordial demons, and other elite demons, it was impossible to count. The reason why there were so many demigod demons was actually related to the recovery of the origin of the Hell world. Many perfected primordial demons had been stuck at a bottleneck and couldn't break through for a long time. But as soon as the origin of Hell was recovered, they broke through together. So the number of demons that had been subdued and broken through had reached 300,000 demigod demons. This was the most powerful faction in the infernal realm. All of the demons were terrified, and there was no way they could contend against them. Seeing this situation, he was very satisfied. His hegemony had been achieved. Just these demon subordinates alone were enough to sweep the entire main universe and the abyss world. After all, there were 300,000 demigod demons. Who could resist them? Also, the number of demigod demons was increasing rapidly. He couldn't imagine how many more demigod demons he would have in the future. Master! Many demigod demons knelt on one knee and looked at Xia Ping with great respect. They could feel the bloodline in Xia Ping's body that was as hot as a star, that undefeatable demonic aura, and that unfathomable power that was like an abyss. Only such an existence could become the Lord of Hell, the leader of all demons. It was also because of their master's existence that they could improve so quickly and become the infernal Golden Crow's dependents. With the powerful demonic bloodline in their bodies, their strength improved by leaps and bounds. They were much stronger than before. Also, because of the Nether God Curse's power, they were extremely united. They would no longer fight with each other. Instead, they worked together and unleashed a torrential power that crushed all other forces. In the past few years, they had destroyed countless powerful demonic forces, destroyed many high-level hell planes, and captured many demigods. Such power was simply invincible. I've waited too long. Xia Ping stood with his hands clasped behind his back, looking down at the group of devils. I want to sweep through the entire hell realm in a short time. I want to become the Lord of Hell, the King of all devils, and rule over all devils. Whoever dares to disobey will be killed without mercy. Yes, Master. We will definitely sacrifice our lives for you and die for you. Many of the demigod demons were extremely excited, and their bodies were trembling. The war was finally about to begin. What followed was a vast war to unify the entire infernal realm. Wonderful. Master is finally going to unify the infernal realm. 3 years. I've waited for 3 whole years. Master has finally said these words. Master of a high-level hellish plane? You can all go to hell. That's right. There can only be one king in this infernal world, and that's Master Fengdu. All the demigod demons roared, and their blood boiled. There was no doubt that this would be an epic war that would sweep through the entire infernal realm. No devil could avoid it. They would also see the emergence of the first demon king in this infernal realm, the king who would unify countless devils. And as the subordinates of the demon king, they would definitely stand at the peak of hell. In an instant, under Xia Ping's orders, the other devil forces that had not yet submitted to the Green Lotus Hell launched an attack, raiding high-level hell planes one after another. Under the siege of 300,000 demigod demons and an army of trillions of devils, no devil force in a high-level hell plane could stop them. Such a power was like the torrent of history, crushing all devils. At the same time, because the infernal realm was simply too big, in order to solve this problem, Xia Ping would basically dispatch the black hole worms to dig void passages everywhere, connecting high-level hell planes. This was like building a high-speed railway, connecting all the infernal realms into one. In this way, if a high-level hell plane was at war, the devils of other hell planes could instantly arrive to provide support. This also allowed the power of all the devils to be connected as one. Basically, there would be no obstacles between hell planes, and they would no longer have to waste a lot of time on traveling. For the infernal realm, this was simply a qualitative change. At this moment, the power of the black hole worm elders had also greatly increased. At the very least, they had all advanced to the immemorial era, and some had even advanced to the Archean era. It could be said that their power was many times greater than that of the Archean era. Therefore, it was really too easy for these black hole worms to dig space-time passages, and it was too fast. They did not need to spend much time at all to dig space-time passages. The roads were clear, and the army was at its peak. This was simply invincible. More often than not, Xia Ping did not even need to do anything, and the passing hell planes would all surrender at the sight of him. In any case, these devils did not have any backbone, and all of them were very roguish. In any case, it did not matter which devil they submitted to. They revered the strong from the bottom of their hearts. In the face of such a terrifying devil army, it was not shameful for them to surrender. However, this unbridled conquest of so many hellplanes also caused fear and panic among the rulers of the other high-level hellplanes. They all banded together and formed a force to resist the devil army of the Green Lotus Hell. After all, the rulers of these high-level hellplanes had long since become accustomed to tyrannizing others. They were used to being emperors. How could they be willing to submit to Xia Ping and become the subordinates of other devils? They were not willing to give up their power and wealth at all. Therefore, in order to resist the Green Lotus Hell, they all banded together and gathered together. At this moment, in the palace of a high-level hellplane, the remaining demigod devils were gathered together for a meeting. Their expressions were extremely grave, and their faces were as black as charcoal. It could be said that there had never been a meeting as heavy as this one. You guys tell me, what should we do now? The one speaking was the leader of the demigod devils, the ruler of the high-level hell plane, the plague fiend. It was a devil that spread endless plagues and possessed extremely terrifying destructive power. Wherever it went, it caused countless deaths and injuries, spreading death and plagues. Its strength was boundlessly terrifying. Chapter 2944. What else can we do? Why don't we just surrender? The Green Lotus Hell has already taken over 2/3 of hell. There are more than 700,000 demigod realm demons. There's still 1/3 of the hell that hasn't been conquered. We're at our wits' end. One of the demigod realm demons said helplessly. He was in despair. In the beginning, there were only 300,000 demigod realm demons in the Green Lotus Hell. However, as the war progressed, they displayed an unstoppable momentum. Countless high-level hells were conquered. In the end, these demigod realm demons couldn't resist. They were all defeated by Xia Ping and submitted to him. Therefore, countless demons surrendered and became the subordinates of the Green Lotus Hell. This caused the Green Lotus Hell's power to expand rapidly. The number of troops also increased. "Surrender my ass." One of the demigod realm demons scolded. "You guys want to be that kid's dogs? I don't want to be one. We're all demigod realm demons. Why should we submit to that guy? Also, our territories, our subordinates, our wealth, we have to hand them all over. Can you guys endure such humiliation?" The one who spoke was the Power Demon King. He had immense strength and was extremely brave. He was a boorish fellow. Therefore, he never submitted to any demons. When he encountered problems, he would use his fists. His battle prowess was well known among the many demigod realm demons. "That's easy for you to say. There are 700,000 demigod realm demons and an endless army of demons. How are we going to resist them? Although it's a humiliation to submit to those demons, if you don't submit, you'll die. What's your choice?" One of the demigod realm demons sneered. Hearing this, many demigod realm demons' eyes flickered. The situation was clear. If they surrendered, they could live. If they didn't, they would lose everything. At that time, not only would they lose their territories and wealth, but they would also lose their lives. If they surrendered, they could still live. In fact, as long as they had the strength of a demigod, they could earn back any wealth or territory. Power was the greatest asset of these demigod realm demons. If that's the case, you should go and surrender. Why are you still here in this meeting? I think he's a spy from Fengdu. He snuck into this meeting to shake our morale. The Power Demon King roared in anger. I'm just talking about the difficulties we're currently facing and want everyone to find a solution. I'm not trying to shake the morale of the troops. A reckless man like you is always one-track minded, and it's very easy for other demons to eliminate you. I think you're the biggest spy, and you simply want us to die. The demigod fiend sneered. Do you want to die? Do you want to spar with me? The Power Demon King was enraged. That's enough. This is a demigod conference. Why are you guys still making a ruckus here? The Pestilence Fiend shouted angrily, stopping the two demigod fiends from quarreling to prevent the conflict from escalating. The two demigod demons sneered, but they were sensible enough to stop quarreling. Alright, what other suggestions do you have? If you have any ideas on how to deal with the Blue Lotus Hell, feel free to speak up. The Plague Fiend said in a deep voice. However, for a very long time, the group of demigod demons remained silent. They frowned and did not have any ideas. Actually, it's not like there's no other way. A demigod demon suddenly said, "Oh, puppet demon, do you have any ideas?" The Pestilence Fiend asked. You guys might have forgotten that we demons aren't the only forces in hell. In fact, there's a third powerful force. The puppet demon smiled faintly. Wait a minute, are you talking about the void monsters? The Pestilence Fiend and the other demons frowned. That's right, the void monsters. Although they're the greatest enemies of us demons, our greatest enemy has become the Blue Lotus Hell. As the saying goes, the enemy of an enemy is a friend. The puppet demon cackled. We can totally divert the trouble and let the void monsters deal with the demons of the Blue Lotus Hell. Let them fight amongst themselves, and we'll reap the benefits. What do you guys think? Hearing this, many demons were excited. They felt that this was a good idea. To demons, there was no such thing as morality. As long as they could win, they would try anything. This is a good idea, but those void monsters have no intelligence. We can't control them at all. The pestilence fiend frowned. He felt that diverting the trouble was a good idea, but he was afraid that the other party would not fall for it. It's fine. The puppet demon cackled. Actually, I have a secret treasure on me called the Spirit Attraction Incense. As long as I light it, those void monsters will pounce on us like hungry dogs. There's no way to control them. It's just that this secret treasure was useless before. But it's different now. We can use this secret treasure to attract the void monsters and let the two forces fight amongst themselves. You actually have a secret treasure like this? Doesn't that mean that if you have a grudge against a demon, you can just light it up and the other party will die? Some demigod demons who had a grudge against you were suddenly wiped out by the void monsters. Don't tell me you did it? The Power Devil King could not help but ask. The group of demigod demons couldn't help but be on guard as they stared at the puppet demon. Well, who knows? Maybe they deserved it. The puppet demon cackled. It didn't deny it. All right, there's no point in talking about this. Let's do it this way. We'll start this plan of diverting the trouble and let the demons of the Blue Lotus Hell suffer heavy losses to buy us some time. The pestilence devil was filled with killing intent. Rumble. At this moment, a wormhole appeared in the void. It seemed to be torn apart by a powerful force. Then this wormhole seemed to pass through an unknown distance. Then a figure appeared in front of the demigod demons. He emitted a terrifying aura. It was as though time and space in this area had stopped. All the demigod demons felt an uncontrollable tremble. What kind of demon are you? The pestilence devil stared at the figure that suddenly appeared. He was shocked. There was actually a demon who could pass through layers of restrictions and directly reach his conference room. Moreover, he was so arrogant. He appeared in front of them. He was too arrogant. You can call me Fengdu. The person who spoke was Xia Ping. He appeared directly in front of the demons and looked down on them. What? His words were earth-shattering, and the demigod fiend devil's hair stood on end. After all, the ruler of the Green Lotus Hell, the king of the trillions of fiend devils, the existence who could sweep through all the planes of hell, was none other than Fengdu, the fiend devil. Sogu website. Master is the strongest demon in hell, the future lord of hell. You trash actually want to form a resistance army? That's like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. You overestimate yourselves. The power demon chuckled. Demons who dare to resist Master must all die and be swept into the dust of history. Its face was ferocious. Hearing these words, the plague demon was so angry that it went crazy. Looking at the strength demon's lackey appearance, licking it more cleanly than anyone else, it really thought that this guy was a companion. Now, it was really blind. I can give you a chance. You can still submit to me and become a part of the Green Lotus Hell. But if you refuse, you will become my enemy. You will die without a doubt. Make your choice. Xia Ping said calmly, giving them one last chance to make a choice. He would use his power to suppress the demon. When these words came out, many demigod demons hesitated. If it was before, they would still want to resist. But now, the evil Fengdu was stronger than them. Was there any point in resisting? 2/3 of their companions had been instigated to defect. The remaining ones were no match for the evil Fengdu. Bastard, even if I die, I won't surrender. You boneless demons, go to hell. The pestilence demon bellowed angrily. It became bold and violent, and actually rushed towards Xia Ping to kill him. Xia Ping looked at the plague demon calmly and slapped him. Don't. In an instant, the plague demon's entire body was crushed. It was as if a huge hand had squeezed it from the inside out. In an instant, it was crushed into a cloud of blood mist. Even its soul was reduced to dust at this moment. Seeing this scene, the demigod demon's hair stood on end. They were terrified. Even a demigod demon like the plague demon was crushed with a single palm. Wouldn't the other demigod demons be killed like bugs? How were they supposed to defend against it? We surrender. We surrender. Lord Fengdu, we were wrong. Please spare our lowly lives. We will go back and disband the army now. We will surrender to the Green Lotus Hell and become a part of Lord Fengdu. One by one, the demigod demons surrendered without any backbone. Faced with this kind of pressure, they had no way to resist. The only way to survive was to surrender. Very good. Xia Ping nodded with satisfaction. As the saying went, the best soldiers could use strategy. Resolving the battle without bloodshed was the highest realm of battle. Who knew how much energy he could save by doing this? Moreover, in the future, these demons would be his subordinates. They would be an important force to resist the evil god. Naturally, he would reduce the losses if he could. There was no need to kill all of them. Of course, if any of them dared to resist, he did not mind killing them all. Whoosh, in an instant, the nether god curse fused into the bodies of the demigod demons. This way, they could no longer resist Xia Ping's power. However, when the last nether god curse landed on the puppet demon, with a bang, the puppet demon's body immediately exploded into pieces. Huh! Xia Ping looked over and saw that after the puppet demon exploded, only a black ball of light was left. It looked like a black skeleton, emitting a sinister and evil power. You're not a puppet demon. You're a creature from the evil god universe. Xia Ping squinted his eyes and immediately recognized the true identity of the puppet demon. That's right. As expected of the Furnace Master, an existence that caused so much trouble in our evil god universe. Originally, I wanted to make you demons suffer heavy losses. I didn't expect you to be so despicable. The war hasn't even started and you've already bribed most of the generals. How hateful. The black skeleton gritted its teeth and was extremely depressed. It didn't expect the Furnace Master to be so despicable and shameless. He was already so strong and yet he was still using dirty tricks. He was really shameless. Chapter 2946. Still trying to sow discord? Based on your intelligence, this is the only plan you can come up with. Unfortunately, it's too late. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back. When the Green Lotus Hell's army was attacking the other planes of hell, he wasn't idling around. He went deep into the enemy's camp and forcefully subdued demigod demons. However, under his orders, these demigod demons couldn't reveal their identities for the time being. They were spies in the dark, only revealing their true identities at the critical moment. His goal was to capture all the opposing demons in one fell swoop when these demons formed the Alliance army, subduing all of them and catching them off guard. In fact, the outcome of this war was already decided from the start. Even a lion would go all out to capture a rabbit. Naturally, he wouldn't underestimate any opponent. Even if he had the advantage, he had to minimize his losses to win this war. The result was obvious. He had already won. After the so-called resistance army was defeated, no demigod demons could resist the power of his demon army. Even if there were some scattered resistance, they were just roaming soldiers. They couldn't pose any threat at all. The only threat now was these enemies from the evil god universe. Damned Furnace Master, our Lord Evil God definitely won't let you off. Just you wait. Very soon, the entire hell world will be destroyed. All the demons will become our evil god slaves. The black skeleton roared angrily. With a bang, after saying this, it exploded with a loud bang, shattering into pieces. Obviously, it didn't want to die in Xia Ping's hands, so it directly self-detonated. Evil God? Even if you don't come looking for me, I'll come looking for trouble. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, his gaze distant. A few months later, Xia Ping had swept through all of the high-level hell planes in the hell world. All of the demigods had submitted to Xia Ping, and trillions of demons had become his subordinates. It could be said that he had become the first demon king in the history of this universe. The first demon king to rule over hell. His power and authority had risen to the peak. At this moment, Xia Ping could feel the boundless providence and origin energy of the entire hell world converging on his body. Every move he made seemed to draw upon the boundless origin energy. He knew that this was the wish power of all living beings. The boundless providence. Any enemy that dared to attack him would suffer a backlash. What was the Lord of Hell? This wasn't a self-conferred title, but rather the recognition of countless demons. Only then could one truly become the Lord of Hell, the most powerful and respected existence in the hellish realm. As long as all living beings approved of it, the infernal realm's essence would also approve of it. However, obtaining the recognition of countless demons was extremely difficult. One had to sweep through countless demons and make them submit to him in order to achieve such a thing. Even in the last era of hell, the number of devils that could accomplish such a feat could be counted on one's fingers. In this infernal era, Xia Ping was the first, and possibly the only one. This power is too strong. Xia Ping clenched his fists. He could feel that he had received the blessing of the entire hell realm. His magic power was rising endlessly. Even he himself wasn't sure how powerful he was. Previously, he had the blessing of the Green Lotus Hell. But now, he had the blessing of the entire hell world. It was like he was carrying the power of the entire universe on his back. Normally, the infernal realm's essence wouldn't do this. But at this moment, the infernal realm's essence sensed the danger of destruction and sensed the enemies from other universes. To get rid of these tumors, it buffed Xia Ping's body in hopes that he could get rid of these evil gods from other universes. Because of that, he sensed that his power had increased tremendously. It was like he had turned into a god. His every action and every word was like that of a god. Head out, wipe out the void monsters. Xia Ping ordered the many demons. He wanted to wipe out the space tunnel that the evil god universe had left in Hell World. This was a tumor that sucked out Hell World and had to be wiped out. He could also sense the will of the infernal realm's essence. Once he wiped out the space tunnel and killed the evil gods and void monsters, he would be favored by the infernal realm's essence. That way, he would be favored by the essence of hell and rewarded by the boundless essence energy of hell. It would be like receiving an immeasurable amount of virtuous karma. Once he obtained such a large amount of essence energy, he would be able to rise to the ruler level immediately. He would reach an unprecedented level and become the first god of Hell World and the modern universe. The benefits were limitless. So, he couldn't wait to destroy the nest of the void monsters. He wanted to chase the evil gods back to their homes so that they wouldn't be able to step into Hell World. Hong Long Long, in an instant, under Xia Ping's command, the endless demonic army advanced towards the void monsters' lair. They were really emotional. Previously, the void monsters used the demons as food and they had wanted to take revenge. Now they finally found the chance. At this moment, within the nest of the void monsters, there were many evil gods. Some were lower gods, some were middle gods, and some were even higher gods. All of them gave off a strong aura that twisted the space around. The nearby void monsters all shivered and didn't dare to look at them. After all, compared to the evil gods, they were just slaves. How is it? How is the progress of the Hell World's essence? How long more before we can enter with our true bodies? We won't be suppressed by the Hell World's essence anymore? An evil god asked. Don't worry, it will happen soon. In a few more months, this Hell World will totally transform and evolve. When that happens, even higher gods will be able to enter. Another evil god laughed. That is great. That furnace master caused such a huge commotion in hell. It was as if he had conquered all the demons in Hell World and became the master of hell. He has collected limitless luck. Kiki, he is just struggling before death. Once our plan is completed, many evil gods will attack and it will be enough to wipe this kid out. All his plans will be for naught. That's right, let this kid be arrogant for now. Soon, the entire Hell World will be ours and no demons will be able to survive. This fella has created a huge problem in our evil god universe. He has pretty much forced our evil god universe into a desperate situation. This time, we will let this fella taste what despair and pain is. The many evil gods were filled with killing intent. Chapter 2947. Damn, Lord Evil God. Just then, a void monster ran in. Those devils and the Lord of Hell, Fengdu, have led a huge army of devils towards our lair. They're coming at us menacingly. They're going to wipe us out completely. He hollered and instantly told them the intel. What? How audacious! We haven't even attacked yet a mere fiend dares to attack us. This is simply preposterous. Too arrogant. An evil god hollered in rage and scolded. His lungs were about to explode from rage. They hadn't even attacked the demons and they actually dared to charge into their nest. They were just so arrogant and didn't care about them at all. They came at the right time. I was worried that I couldn't find trouble with the furnace master elsewhere. Who knew that they would actually ask to die and charge right here? If I don't help them, then how can I face their stupidity? That's right, didn't we expect such a thing? The furnace lord won't let us complete our plan. Once he finds out about our plan, he'll definitely come to destroy this space-time tunnel and prevent us from entering the Hell Realm. That's right. That's why we came from the fiend god Cosmos to guard this base. With us here, no matter how arrogant the furnace master is, he won't be able to destroy the space tunnel. Moreover, the nest of the void monsters is filled with evil god restrictions and is connected to the evil god universe. It can resist the suppression of the Hell World's origin source to the greatest extent. In the nest, we can also display 99% of our combat strength. If the furnace master dares to find trouble, then he is really asking to die. If not for the ruler god being too strong, he might have broken the seals here. If not, even the ruler god is here, then nothing will go wrong. The evil gods' disgust and killing intent surged. They didn't care about Xia Ping's attack at all. Instead, they felt that this was a good chance for them to take revenge. He is here. The furnace master is here. An evil god seemed to have sensed something. Very good, let us head out to meet the furnace master. Let's see how powerful he is. Many evil gods gave off terrifying killing intent. And at this time, under Xia Ping's lead, the endless demon army arrived, their bodies exuding a terrifying demonic energy, covering the sky and earth. The entire nest of the void monsters immediately went on alert. Countless heretic god seals appeared in the nest, forming a three-dimensional defensive array formation. It was like an absolute defense. No matter how the enemy attacked, it would be hard to break through the defenses of the void monster's nest. You want to defend to the death? How could it be so simple? Since it's hiding in its nest, we'll just shake it to death. Xia Ping waved his hand and immediately took out a divine weapon, the Warhorn. This was a divine weapon that came from the god of war and contained a terrifying sound wave. Don't give him a chance to live. An evil god held a long sword. His body gave off a dark aura that seemed like it could corrode everything. Hence, go to hell. An evil god laughed coldly. He wore gloves and his muscles were bulging. His fists broke through space. At that moment, the three evil gods formed a triangle and charged towards Xia Ping. It was as if they had surrounded Xia Ping, not giving him any time or space to escape. Stupid evil gods. Xia Ping was expressionless. He didn't even look and took out the second god artifact, Mjolnir. This was a god artifact he found in the deep abyss and came from the lightning god. It was said that he was a god artifact. One could imagine how strong his Mjolnir was. He grasped the lightning Dao and could control all lightning in the world, even tribulation lightning. Sogu website. Chapter 2948. In an instant, Xia Ping did not say a word. He held the mace of the god of thunder in his hand and swung it at the three evil gods. Boom, boom, boom. Billions of bolts of purple tribulation lightning struck down, forming a sea of lightning that engulfed the three evil gods, leaving them with nowhere to run. What? The three evil gods' hair stood on end. They could feel the terrifying destructive power of the tribulation lightning, which had locked onto their souls. No matter how they tried to dodge, they couldn't escape. However, it was too late for them to dodge at this moment because the purple tribulation lightning was simply too fast. When Xia Ping's hammer smashed down, billions of purple tribulation lightning bolts bombarded them at the same time. This kind of attack surpassed everything, and it crossed countless dimensions. Rumble, the three evil gods let out shrill screams. Their bodies were hit by the attack, and it was as if they were being punished by billions of tribulation lightning bolts. As evil gods, they were most afraid of tribulation lightning, which was extremely young and unyielding. As soon as the tribulation lightning touched their bodies, it was like melting ice and snow, obliterating much of their evil god power. The tribulation lightning even struck the Lord of the Godhead in their bodies, penetrating the defense of the Godhead and attacking the deepest part of their souls. Ah! The three evil gods screamed, their eyes wide. They didn't even have the chance to fight back, and the souls inside their Godheads were instantly struck into nothingness. They died immediately. At the same time, their evil god bodies were also struck into ashes, and they disappeared from the world. Only three evil Godheads were left in the air. Impossible! The other evil gods couldn't believe what they saw. This guy hadn't reached the god realm, and he was only a demigod. Even if he had a divine weapon, he couldn't be so terrifying. It was merely a hammer strike, yet it had actually killed three lower deities. What kind of terrifying battle prowess was this? How could they believe such a ridiculous thing? Damn it! This kid has been blessed by the origin of the hell world. His strength has been endlessly enhanced. I'm afraid he already possesses the battle strength of the divine realm. In terms of battle strength alone, I'm afraid he's no weaker than a mid-god. One of the evil gods had an extremely ugly look on his face. He had never expected such a thing to happen. He was just a demigod, but he actually had the battle prowess of a middle god. It was really unimaginable. So what if he is buffed by the source of hell? Let's attack together and kill this fellow. With so many evil gods attacking together, even if this kid has 3 heads and 6 arms, he won't be our match. That's right. Let's attack together and kill this kid. The many evil gods were filled with killing intent and hollered in rage. Rumble, in an instant, not only were the evil gods not frightened by Xia Ping's attack, but the ferocity in their bodies was also stimulated. All of them charged towards Xia Ping. Terrifying great path laws blasted out from the bodies of these evil gods. In an instant, they pierced through the void of hell and twisted the great path laws for billions of light years. These were like chains of order, sealing the space-time of hell in all directions. It was as if the surrounding area was enveloped by the great path domain of the evil gods, turning it into a divine kingdom. All the laws of the creatures in the divine kingdom were controlled by the gods. This was the terrifying part of the gods. Once the divine kingdom appeared, it was like a divine kingdom enveloping the space-time in all directions. Wherever the divine kingdom enveloped, all the source laws of the universe would be tampered with. No ordinary person would be able to move or use any power. In this way, how could ordinary people be a match for the gods? They were like ants. They were not opponents in the same dimension at all. At the same time, the divine power of the gods was even more terrifying. It could easily erode the laws of the universe and corrode the essence of life. Once divine power invaded, it could instantly destroy any life. Even a wisp of divine power was not something that could be resisted by creatures below the divine realm. It would instantly explode the bodies of ordinary people. At this moment, there were so many evil gods attacking at the same time. It was as if they had destroyed the space-time of hell. All the creatures were like ants, crushed by the terrifying divine power. Good timing. Xia Ping's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. There was no fear at all. Originally, when faced with such terrifying power, Xia Ping was not a match for so many evil gods. But at this moment, he had the blessing of the entire hell world. This was equivalent to him becoming the son of destiny of the entire universe. He had expanded his domain to the entire hell universe. One could imagine how terrifying the power of Xia Ping's domain was. Even if the gods could tamper with the laws of a part of the universe, they could not tamper with the entire universe. If they could really do this, they would be the god of creation. They would not be intermediate gods or superior gods. Therefore, the magic power in Xia Ping's body was extremely terrifying. It was vast and boundless. Even though the quality of his magic power was far from the divine power of the gods, the quantitative change resulted in a qualitative change. With the blessing of the entire universe's source power, even the magic power in his body could easily destroy the divine power. It was just like how a drop of water could not go against steel. But the water of the entire ocean could easily twist the steel and crush it into dregs. Most importantly, he was not just relying on the magic power in his body. He also had many divine weapons that could greatly enhance his combat power. The supreme divine weapon, 6 Paths Millstone. In an instant, Xia Ping made a grabbing motion and took out the 6 Paths Grindstone. This was an unparalleled god artifact from the previous era of Hell. It carried the boundless karmic luck of Hell and contained an unimaginable amount of divine power. Even the strongest divine weapon in the evil god universe could not be compared to the 6 Paths Millstone. Walalat, when the 6 Paths Millstone appeared, billions of light years were enveloped by it. At this moment, the time and space of billions of light years stopped. All the evil gods were dumbfounded. They could feel that their bodies could not move at all. It was as if they were suppressed by a vast power. Only their thoughts could move. What is this? The evil gods were dumbfounded. They saw the 6 Paths Millstone was like a star, spanning across billions of miles in the void. It emitted a vast, ancient, and immortal aura. It contained the power of the 6 Paths, Heavenly Tao, Animal Tao, Ghost Tao, Asura Tao, Human Tao, Hell Tao, and many others. It spun and formed the power of 6 Paths reincarnation. At this moment, they could feel that this divine weapon contained an unparalleled godly aura. It seemed to have the reincarnation of life and death, the reincarnation of the 4 seasons, and even the reincarnation of the universe. Endless reincarnation power surged out from the 6 Paths Millstone. Chapter 2949. Run. This is the strongest godly weapon of the last Hell epic, 6 Paths of Reincarnation. One of the evil gods seemed to have thought of something and couldn't help but cry out in fear. This is a terrifying divine artifact that can easily suppress even demon gods, crushing them into scraps of flesh and blood. It is said that it contains the supreme power of the reincarnation cycle of the universe. Once it is activated, it will produce the power of the universe's epic. It thought of the legends of the 6 Paths of Reincarnation and was terrified. Impossible. Didn't they say that the 6 Paths of Reincarnation was destroyed? How can this godly weapon still exist? What kind of joke is this? One of the evil gods couldn't believe it. He heard that this godly weapon was destroyed during the war with the immortal universe and disappeared into the eternal chaos. How can a godly weapon be destroyed so easily? Even if it is destroyed, it can be restored. This kid must have obtained the strongest godly weapon of Hell, the 6 Paths of Reincarnation. That's why he is so arrogant. Damn, we were tricked. We really were tricked. No wonder this kid is so fearless. He is relying on the power of this godly weapon. Retreat immediately. Return to the fiend god universe. This kid isn't someone we can deal with. Only the sovereign-level evil gods can kill him. The evil gods were terrified. They could feel the terrifying power of the 6 Paths of Reincarnation. It hadn't even appeared yet, but they could feel their flesh, souls, and even their godheads being destroyed. So. The evil gods no longer had any will to fight. They wished their parents could give them 2 more legs. All they wanted was to escape back to the fiend god universe. But it was too late for them to escape. Because under Xia Ping's control, the 6 Paths Millstone came crashing down. The Heavenly Tao, Animal Tao, Ghost Tao, Asura Tao, Human Tao, and the other Taos revolved around each other, creating the power of life and death, yin and yang. The 6 Paths of Reincarnation power even surged out from the 6 Paths of Reincarnation, as if it wanted to destroy everything and return them to chaos. Hong Long, in an instant, the 6 Paths of Reincarnation mercilessly came crashing down and smashed into the evil gods. Immediately, the evil gods let out shrill cries like pigs being slaughtered. They could feel their bodies being destroyed by the 6 paths of reincarnation. As soon as they made contact, the terrifying power of the 6 paths of reincarnation crushed over. All the lesser gods were instantly killed. They were instantly turned into a bloody mist and turned into ashes. As for gods, they were able to hold on for a period of time. But every time the 6 paths grindstone spun, it was as if the universe was changing its reincarnation cycle. The terrifying reincarnation power continued to circulate, and the terrifying chaos aura destroyed everything in its path. And then, in the span of a few breaths, the god was crushed into minced meat as well. The remaining high gods were barely able to resist. They tried their best to circulate the divine power in their bodies and even tried to escape. But doing so would be futile. Crash! The 6 paths millstone produced waves of terrifying devouring power. In an instant, the high gods were sucked into the 6 paths millstone. It was like grinding soybean milk. The power of primal chaos and reincarnation would be produced from within, and it would obliterate the power of the great Tao laws and countless magical techniques of the higher gods. No. Spare me. Spare us. We won't dare. We won't dare anymore. Spare us. We promise that we will never invade the infernal realm again. Please spare our lives. The evil gods screamed. They were terrified to the extreme. Only after they were sucked into the 6 paths millstone did they realize how terrifying this divine weapon was. After they entered, the 6 paths grindstone spun and crushed them again and again. The endless chaos aura crushed everything in its path. Even when they were awake, they were crushed into minced meat by the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation. It was more painful than any torture in the world. Xia Ping had no intention of showing mercy. He was only borrowing the power of the Hell World source energy to make the 6 paths grindstone unleash such terrifying power. Once he lost the support of the Hell World source energy, his own power would be reduced to its original state. He would not be a match for these higher gods. Therefore, while they were weak, it was best to kill them all at once. Moreover, the words of these evil gods could not be trusted. Those who were not of the same race were bound to have different intentions. Rumble, under Xia Ping's full power, the 6 paths grindstone spun crazily, producing terrifying reincarnation power and chaos power. Kacha. Don't. In the next second, these higher gods could not withstand it at all. They were crushed into minced meat, and even their souls were obliterated. Floating in the void were lumps of flesh and blood of the evil gods, as well as the godhoods they left behind after they died. As expected of the 6 paths grindstone. It's so strong. Xia Ping exclaimed. He felt his body weakening. In fact, if it wasn't for the support of the entire universe's source energy, he would not be able to use the full power of the 6 paths grindstone. Moreover, after using it once, he lost more than 90% of his arcane energy. He felt weak like never before. If he were to use it again, he might not be able to withstand it. But no matter what, all the evil gods that invaded the Hell World were killed. In a short period of time, no evil gods would dare to invade the Hell World. How is this possible? Lord, evil gods are all dead? What is going on? How can the demons of the Hell World be so terrifying? Run, hurry up and run. We can't stay in the Hell World any longer. Go back now. Go back and report to the ruler. Send this news back immediately. A terrifying god has appeared in the Hell World with overwhelming combat strength. At this moment, the void monsters were scared out of their wits at the sight of this. It was just one strike and all the evil gods were obliterated. They couldn't even escape. How terrifying was this combat strength? Even the evil god was so easily killed by this devil. Then wouldn't they, small shrimps, be crushed to death by this devil in a matter of minutes? So. In the blink of an eye, the void monsters fled in fright, not daring to stay where they were at all. They all ran back to their lairs in disorder. Then, they panicked and charged into the space-time tunnel that connected the Hell World and the evil god universe. These void monsters didn't even look back as they all ran back to the evil god universe. But at this moment, under Xia Ping's orders, all the demons started to attack the nests of the void monsters. They wanted to destroy the space-time tunnel that connected to hell. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.